My friends, you have never seen a week like this week. It's an event this week that hasn't happened for over 200 lifetimes, 200 incarnations. You have incarnated especially at this moment in time to witness it. I'm Kesenya. I'm here to tell you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. Welcome to the Astro News and Weather Report for the third week of February 2026. This is tropical Vedic astrology, not sidereal. Look it up. And yes, I am a real person, not AI. AI channels steal the content of your favorite astrologers like myself. And I just encourage you not to support AI content on YouTube. We will cover this week's Astro News in this video, and then we're going to cover your personal forecast by sign using the timestamps if you want to go to your sign. And if it resonates, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel to help my channel grow. So let's dig in. Let's start by looking at this week's Astro News before we get to the really meaty stuff. Firstly, we have a square on the 16th of February between the Sun and Uranus. Now, this is time for marching to the beat of your own drum, my people. Let no one tell you what to do, what to think, how to behave, and most of all, how to express yourself, okay? The trouble is, all the autonomy that comes with this square aspect may rub other people the wrong way on this day, the 16th of February. And somehow, life in the material realm seems to require a balance of belonging and individuality. Go figure. So the Sun rules Leo and Uranus rules the opposite sign, Aquarius. These are two planets that have a very similar level of autonomy, individuality, and uniqueness, and yet they're also very much at odds in the astrological world. Now, this may express in the people that you encounter on the 16th of February with sudden outbursts, the result of feelings of stagnation and being stuck and not being able to assert themselves in the way they want to in the world. And with this hard aspect, like a square, things are tinged in this case with a very restless, uncertain energy. You might be noticing that at this point in history. This can only be mitigated with a good dose of self-awareness, non-judgment, flexibility, and acceptance of the differing journeys all of we human beings are on in this incarnation. Try to be gracious to others on the 16th of February and under this coming eclipse energy as well. On the 17th of February, we have Mercury in a trine to Jupiter. Now, isn't it time we had some good news, my friends? Today, the 17th is what I'm referring to when I say today, the 17th of February, the good news might arrive on your doorstep, especially if you have any of the mutable signs strong in your chart: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces. This is a beautiful energy for engaging in group activities, communicating well with others, especially if you are in a role that requires teaching or facilitating in some way. And if travel is on the cards for you, dear ones, it will be enjoyable and hassle-free thanks to this lovely energy between Mercury and Jupiter, two planets that usually have to do with travel. If you have any legal matters that need attending to, any contracts to sign or proposals that need signing, this is a good day for it. This day will be your friend because this energy supports a big picture outcome, but also ensures that you pay attention to the details as well. Also on February the 17th, we have the Chinese New Year. This is the year of the fire horse. Now, I go into great detail about what the year of the fire horse means for each zodiac sign in the Chinese Parthenon. And so I'd encourage you, if you haven't done so already, join me at the Patreon family where you'll get a breakdown of what the year of the fire horse means. Not only that, it's also, all that information is also in my eclipse video, and there is an eclipse occurring on the same day as the year of the fire horse begins under this new moon energy. It's a new moon eclipse, and it's occurring at Aquarius at 28 degrees and 49 minutes of Aquarius. This also thrusts us all into what we know as the eclipse gateway, the 2 weeks that we experience between eclipses. So we are beginning that on the 17th of February. I also talk extensively about what the eclipse gateway actually is and what it means in that video available at my Patreon family. Now, this eclipse has some very interesting features to it. Saturn, who is the lord of the eclipse, is in mutual exchange with Mars. There is a square from Uranus. We've already explored the general nature of the square of Uranus to the sun, but this really feeds into the eclipse in a big way. Saturn square to the sun. This eclipse is also being triggered by the North Node. That has its own set of effects that bring to bear at this eclipse time. It's also part of Saros cycle 10 North, and I find this particularly fascinating. We are getting to the end of this Saros cycle. There's a few eclipses left to go in this family of eclipses, but not many. And it's really drawing to a close, an era that began in 944 AD. I talk more extensively about that also in my Patreon video for all signs. This eclipse is also occurring in lunar mansion number 23, and it's in an empty area of the sky, and there are no fixed stars in conjunction with this eclipse, and neither is anything out of bounds at this time. So that's probably going to make things a little bit quieter than we may have seen in previous eclipses recently. Now, my Patreon family, as I've said, have received this special video breaking down all the eclipse details and also the Chinese New Year forecast for all signs. So if you'd like to join the Patreon family, we would love to welcome you to our community there. Plus, you get to hear what I really think is going on in the world, things that I struggle to share publicly on a forum like YouTube. So if you want to know more about what's going on, join me at Patreon. Now, also on the 17th of February, besides the eclipse, besides the Chinese New Year, besides the Mercury trine to Jupiter, we have Venus in conjunction with the North Node. It's all happening on the 17th of February. So what this means is, this is feeding into the eclipse as well, but it means that you might meet someone special from the past. You might rekindle an old romance, or even maybe encounter a love from a previous incarnation, perhaps. But the focus above all else with this energy, Venus conjunct the North Node, is learning to make mature love work this time around for you. Then on February the 18th, we move beyond the eclipse on the 17th, but we actually enter into the full moon lunar eclipse season. It begins on the 18th. So we're under the influence of the full moon lunar eclipse on the 18th of February from then on. On the 19th of February, we are entering, or the sun rather, is entering into Pisces, precious Pisces. This heralds 30 days of compassion, mysticism, transcending our ordinary earthly boundaries. It starts on the 19th of February, and it's especially potent for people born during the day or with Leo or the sun placed powerfully in their chart, because people with those configurations can connect to purposes and meanings far beyond the observable reality that is happening now. So if you need wisdom and advice that transcends earthly dimensions, seek out somebody who's got their sun in Leo, so strong, and now it's in so natally in Leo, and now that the sun enters into Pisces, people with that Leo sun configuration are going to be able to tap into high-minded Pisces information. For some with less conscious expressions of stellar energy, there might be experiences during this period of the sun in Pisces of being victimized, or there might be experiences of fear coming to the surface now, feeling like our feet aren't quite on the ground. There might even be resentment, feeling that we've given so much and received so little in life, suffering through sacrifice. These are the Pisces shadow energies. So never forget, my dear friends, you create your own reality. Trust your intuition, feel into what your sensitivities are saying to you, and above all else, flow with what unfolds now. To trust, to flow, to receive, this is the essence of Piscean energy. And now we get to the meat, the crux of everything. This is the biggie. 21st of February, Saturn will conjunct Neptune. Now, that depends where you are in the world. General consensus is 21st of February for the majority of the planet. Now, what I'm going to share is going to be a little bit controversial. So please don't leave an inflammatory comment, my friends. Just unsubscribe and move on, as any person with dignity and grace would do. Let's go. This is the biggest event for 6,000 years in the astral skies, I feel. Not only are Saturn and Neptune coming together as part of their important 36-year cyclical dance in the skies, but they are meeting at the 0 degree of Aries mark. This is the equinox degree, the degree of spring equinox. A very, very potent degree in mundane, financial, and personal astrology that triggers big events. Don't think for a moment that this is not important. This is a once in 6,000 year cyclic lining up. Amazing. The last time that this happened, the world shifted down into the Kali Yuga. Now, if you follow my chats with people in my astrology chats playlist about the Yuga cycle, you will know that we're on the upswing in this cycle of the great year. And that being the case, I believe this conjunction heralds the move out of the Kali Yuga and into the Dwapara Yuga, or the new Bronze Age, as it's called. This movement, this momentum into the new Dwapara Yuga, or the Bronze Age, actually takes between 100 and 200 years to come to its fullness. And we have actually already been seeing the birth pains of this new age for over 100 years now. But this eclipse week and the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune play into this cycle. And I do talk about this at my Patreon family video for my eclipse forecast. Essentially, this conjunction, Saturn and Neptune, is another nail in the coffin of the Kali Yuga period. Goodbye and good riddance. In Hindu cosmology, my friends, if you don't know about it, the Kali Yuga is the final and the darkest of the 4 world ages. It's talked about in many mythologies, but Hindu refers to it as Kali Yuga. It's a time marked by spiritual decline, moral confusion, and a deep forgetting of our true nature. It's said to be an era when materialism rises, truth becomes distorted, and power often outweighs true wisdom. Sound familiar? Sound like anything the world has seen over the last few thousand years? Yet paradoxically, at Kali Yuga, or during Kali Yuga, it's also considered to be a potent time for awakening, because the darkness is so apparent, so strong, that even small acts of integrity and devotion and compassion can carry immense spiritual weight during the Kali Yuga. And that's why truly noble, heroic people have stood out like a sore thumb during the history of the Kali Yuga. Now, in the Kali Yuga age of chaos and contraction, the opportunity for liberation is said to be closer than ever. It's like a lotus flower rising through muddy waters towards the light. That's one of the symbolisms for the Kali Yuga. Now, the rise out of the Kali Yuga into this new Bronze Age, the new Bronze Age we'll call it. It's also called the Dwapara Yuga in the Hindu mythology. It's described by some traditions as a great turning of the cosmic tide, a slow but profound lifting of consciousness from density of the Kali Yuga into the awakening of the new Bronze Age, where Kali Yuga is marked by spiritual amnesia and material obsession. The emerging Dwapara Yuga, or New Bronze Age, brings a rekindling of subtle awareness, energetic understanding, and expansion of our perception. Truth begins to reassemble itself. What are we seeing happening in the world right now? Hello. Humanity shifts from purely material paradigms, my friends, towards an exploration of energy, frequency, and interconnectedness with one another. It is not an overnight salvation, but it's a gradual illumination, like dawn breaking after a long, long, long night. Old systems crack, old illusions dissolve, and from the rubble rises a renewed curiosity about the invisible forces that shape our lives. In this ascent, knowledge and intuition begin to walk hand in hand, as they should have done for all these years. It's about time. Now, we also have an incredible minor grand trine between all the celestial planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, holding space for us at this time as well. They are angelically overseeing the shifts humanity is now going through in this incredible transition. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, this minor grand trine between the celestial planets also hasn't occurred for thousands of years. Let me just say, I believe the divine is watching over what's happening on the planet right now in a big way. Now, the great Geoffrey Wolf Green, who I just adore, shared his take on the wisdom of Shuri Yukteswar. He wrote in his Pluto book that 5% of humanity are newly emerging souls coming out of the animal and plant kingdom and emerging into human existence. He also said that 70% of human or humanity, are unawakened, sort of kindergarten level souls, with a small fraction of those kindergarten souls having incarnated here many, many times and then learned how to take positions of power and leadership. Hello. They get into these positions of leadership, but do they truly have the capacity to lead compared to some others on the planet? The answer is an unequivocal no. And then there's the 20% who are awakened and have individuated themselves from mass unawakened consciousness. The people who can see what's going on, who can call it out, who realize that they don't want to be part of this mass herd going towards the edge of the cliff. This 20% are rising spiritually and they're vibrating above the common mass. And then there's the final 5% of souls, and these are the enlightened beings living amongst us. They're not sitting on a mountaintop chanting Om, but they're living with us, leading the way in truth and beauty, love, kindness, and wisdom, and all those beautiful qualities. Now, I think that the move into the new Bronze Age is going to actually help many more of the unawakened souls progress into the 20% level. And we're going to have this mighty conjunction this week of Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries that's going to greatly assist in bringing that about, because it's lifting us out of the Kali Yuga. It's going to help awaken people, move us into the new Bronze Age. It's all happening. And it is already happening when we look around us and see what's going on in our world. Let's take a moment now and look at the history of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction occurs roughly every 35 to 36 years, and it marks the beginning of a new cycle between structure, Saturn on one hand, and dissolution, Neptune, on the other. It's like form meeting formlessness, reality meeting idealism, coming together, the conjunction of the two, a bit like oil and water in a way. Historically, these conjunctions often coincide with periods when collective dreams crystallize into new systems, and that can be really good. Or it can be when systems dissolve under the weight of disillusionment, and that can also be really good as well. Let me give you some examples. In 1917, the conjunction occurred in Leo, and it aligned with the Russian Revolution. Whoever you think was behind that, I'll leave that to your research to discover, but it aligned with the Russian Revolution and the reshaping of monarchies and power structures. This was an era when ideological visions radically restructured nations, particularly Russia. And then we had a conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in sort of 1952-53, and it occurred in Libra. Now, this unfolded during the height of the Cold War, and this, of course, was a time defined by political polarization, emerging global alliances, and tensions. Naturally, there was Russia heavily involved in this, and what we mostly know about in the West is how much resistance for example, the US and Hollywood and what have you was having to Russian influence at that time. Then in 1989, we had a conjunction of Saturn-Neptune in Capricorn. And of course, we all know about this one. This was the last time they got together, and this corresponded with the fall of the Berlin Wall. I can't believe it was that long ago, my God. And it also heralded the collapse of long-standing communist political structures. Saturnian institutions dissolving under the Neptunian tides. So there's just a few examples of how this goes. You know, as you've probably just seen with the illustrations I've given, the Saturn-Neptune cycle has always had tremendous ties to the history of Russia, almost always bringing in new phases in the history of that mighty country. Now, depending which chart you choose to use, this conjunction, now occurring at 0 degrees of Aries, will be occurring at 0 degrees in Russia's whole sign chart, of the 8th house of Russia's whole sign chart, or the 9th house, depending on which chart of Russia you're using. Now, I choose to use the most recent chart in 1991, and therefore that is going to see this Saturn-Neptune conjunction occur in the 9th house of Russia's chart. And therefore, I see Russia moving into a fantastic new period of moral and ethical leadership in the world, because it's falling in the 9th house of morals and ethics. This is actually very, very powerful. Brand new beginnings at 0 degrees here for Russia of their ninth house. Now, just for the comments section, your personal opinion really doesn't matter here. Russia has an astrology chart. Saturn Neptune conjunctions always impact Russia. And this time it's falling in the ninth house of their chart. Don't bother arguing with me. Argue with the astrology if you don't like it. That's what is forming. I'm just got to remind myself, because I know there'll be comments on this, I have to remind myself there are 70% of people who watch this video who are the unawakened, unenlightened souls, okay? Deep breaths. Now, the marvelous Chris Brennan has recently mentioned that in one of his videos, and I suggest you all watch it, it's really brilliant, mentioned that this cycle is often tied to the establishment of or dissolution of or spotlighting of secret societies. Fascinating video done by Chris recently. Just take a look at what we're seeing in the world right now with all this truth coming out and things that many of us knew were true, but we all hoped weren't. Check out Chris's video if you haven't done so already. Now, we need to be very aware at this time also of being heavily deceived. That's a Neptune energy. And the deception is likely to come by earthly Mordor propaganda. And earthly Mordor in my book is the city of London, for those who don't know. So knowing what is true and what is not right now might be very foggy and very unclear, my friends, until we get a little way down the track in history. But what really does stand out at this time is what the masses thought was truth has completely unraveled. What the masses, the 70% that I spoke of earlier, believed of the world has been shown to be a lie. So do keep in mind as we deal with propaganda, Neptune has to do with propaganda. Do keep in mind that the Agenda 2030 that the Commonwealth is having thrust upon it, Agenda 2030 wants humanity to demand a one world government. That's the agenda. So getting pissed off with our horrendous compromised leaders may well be a part of what they're trying to do to achieve that outcome. I believe there's a better way. We can get rid of the current government structures and replace them with a brand new system that's fair and equitable and not part of the New World Order. Saturn Neptune conjunction is here to help dismantle this old order and hopefully not replace it with a one world government. And this is why we need to be very aware of the propaganda machines that are working against humanity, easily deceiving humanity, telling us lies, causing us to run down rabbit holes. Be very, very careful. Now, there is another notable thing about this Saturn-Neptune conjunction cycle, and that is that the US presidents who were assassinated because they wanted to bring in the Alexander Hamilton system, also known as the American system, or at least they wanted to bring in a version of that system, they all had a Saturn-Neptune conjunction in their birth charts. Now, these included Lincoln, FDR, and Kennedy. And yes, I am including FDR in the assassination list. Once again, I caution us all, be very aware of what Mordor is doing at this time in history, because they were behind those assassinations. Also in the world right now, because the future is so uncertain, no one is taking chances. You might have noticed this. People are reluctant to invest, reluctant to take a risk, reluctant to step out of their comfort zone. Despite the fact that this conjunction is happening, in risk-taking Aries, people are not hiring outside of their known circle. No one is investing in things where you can't see the results clearly right from the get-go. There's no speaking up about something that you could get embarrassed over. No confronting certain situations. It's like people are just holding back, waiting to see what happens before they make a move. Now, this may all shift once the application of Saturn to Neptune finishes, and therefore the applying energy dissipates and we move into a separating aspect between the two. Then we might start to see a bit of momentum, I feel, especially in a go-getter sign like Aries. But currently, as I'm recording this video, trends are unclear. Social and economic conditions are unstable and therefore subject to devaluation. And faith in leadership is low because leadership is so goddamn weak. So what does Saturn and Neptune conjunction mean on a personal level? We've dissected the globe. Now it's time to look at ourselves. Well, in brief, Saturn is the planet of expectations. So, what do we dream of, hope for? What do we want from our lives and from this world that we live in right now? Saturn, on the other hand, rules reality. And so the question must be asked, can our expectations become reality now? Or will we just come down with a nasty thud? Let's hope not. Neptune also represents limitless expansion, no boundaries whatsoever, while Saturn rules restriction and smallness. Is it possible to be able to meet somewhere in the middle? Neptune is disillusion, formlessness, fluidity, and Saturn is structures. No wonder we are observing old structures come tumbling down now. In astrology, it is considered that the further out a planet is, the stronger its impact upon us, and therefore Pluto really kicks ass. But in this case, we're looking at Saturn Neptune conjunction. Neptune is further out than Saturn. And so it's worth considering the Neptunian influence being very powerful and very strong. And yet, Saturn is the final visible planet. He's the edge of tangible reality. So it's a real mix of strong, impactful planets coming together, Saturn, Neptune. Let's look at the conventional thoughts around this united energy. What could happen? Well, I'm going to go through and list them in dot point form here for you. Firstly, you might find that your old, worn-out life structures are starting to crumble. We're going to need to modify any perfectionist or idealistic beliefs because they're going to perhaps come under deep scrutiny at this time. There's a realization that happens with this conjunction that certain dreams in our lives are not possible. We're not going to be able to get there. The rose-colored glasses come off under Saturn-Neptune conjunction. We're forced, in many cases, to confront the harsh reality of life. Now, a lot of this sounds very, very harsh, but there are, for the high-vibe souls out there, there's some promise. So stick with me on this. Business or careers can come to an end under this energy. And what are we seeing all over the planet in the application of Saturn to Neptune? We're seeing AI take over everything and people afraid for their futures because AI is going to do it. What's going to become of me? This is what we're looking at here. A lot of the time, this Saturn-Neptune conjunction makes us realize that we cannot rely on the previous foundations we've had for our existence on the planet. We need to change or be changed. Old reality has outlived its usefulness, and this is applying to you in a very personal manner. Your reality, the reality you were living in, is now done and gone, and it's time for you to make changes to adapt. We need to realize that previously held ambitions may not satisfy you in the future, so they may need changing as well. Naturally, all of this energy can have us feeling insecure and very vulnerable at this time. We can be confused. We can feel anxious. I'm going to give you some ways to counteract this shortly. We feel like we've lost control or authority over our own lives because of this energy. And we even start to question long-held spiritual convictions and esoteric beliefs that don't stack up any longer. A lot of people who were involved in the New Age are, realizing, hang on a minute, some of these dudes who I was putting up on a pedestal as a guru, well, look who they were involved with and what they were up to. I have to question my New Age beliefs now. This is happening, and also religious circles as well. Blaming past life choices is very common under this energy. Let me tell you, it's not helpful. There's no blame here. Just accept what's happened and where you've been in life and what you used to believe and start to embrace the new. We're all going through this big transitional change. Many people might suffer a loss of prestige or reputation now under this energy. Activities and projects that started during this particular transit may struggle to succeed. So in many senses, it's a good time to make fresh starts and new beginnings because there's an eclipse involved in this week, and it's a brand new beginning eclipse with a new moon. Yet, we may find that there is a need to push through a lot of hurdles to get out the other side because sometimes, not always, but one of the manifestations of Saturn-Neptune is that there is a struggle to get things going. There can also be sometimes problems with real estate and building because Saturn rules construction and Neptune is to dissolve. So when these two come together, yes, there can be issues and problems around real estate and building. But it is a time of deep soul searching, my friends. And if you are a high vibrational person, let's say you're part of that 20% category that I just spoke of in the introduction, well, you may experience the higher octave of this energy, which actually brings long held dreams and visions to fruition, into reality. And if you're also somebody who works in art or spiritualism or metaphysics, if you work in film or photography or mysticism, then you might receive a really big rise in status now and recognition now. My friends, when this transit is over and Saturn separates from Neptune, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to find out just how devoted you really were to some area or aspect of your life. You will have matured. And you're going to see, as you look back over your life, some really hard-won growth and advancement of your soul. And if you faced your fears during this time, you will have learned that you can survive anything, and therefore the future holds nothing that it can throw at you that you can't handle. These are some of the benefits out the other side. Now, what do you need to do to get the best out of this energy? Well, I would suggest getting plenty of rest and relaxation. Don't push it. Make sure you balance what you're doing, all your hard work, all your efforts, with some downtime, with some retreat, with some quiet. Limit stress as much as you possibly can in your life. Practice going with the flow, obviously, rather than trying to force things. Surround yourself with loving friends or loving family, and just avoid negative and pessimistic people wherever you can, even here on YouTube, if at all possible. Meditation can prove a little bit ineffective because Saturn kind of blocks that in the Neptune energy that is conjoining with it. So don't be discouraged if you're trying to meditate and it's just doing nothing for you, or you're getting nowhere and you think this is just a waste of my time. Realize it's the astral energy. Don't be upset about it. Just move on. Do something else that calms the soul instead. Remember, friends, the way you think is everything. Negativity during this conjunction feeds the energetic vampires in our world. Positivity could mean your dreams come true. Visualize, vision, have an idea, put it up in front of you. What do you want your life to look like? This is a time, if you're a high vibe soul, when miracles can actually happen, because that's what these two coming together is for the high vibe souls. And to my mind, this is the exciting bit of this conjunction, because Saturn is crystallization, bringing things into reality, and Neptune is the dream. Your dreams become reality. I hope that's how this manifests for everyone. But like I said, keep your mind and your vibe high, because positivity means your dreams could come true. High morality and ethics are actually required under this energy to avoid struggles and difficulties. Keep your karma clean. I can't reiterate that enough under this energy. Watch what you post, watch what you share, watch what you say, watch what you do, and try and keep it morally and ethically pure. We can also negate worry and anxiety by practicing positive visualization. Allow yourself to dream. Just try and manage, that energy of, oh, I'm disappointed now because that dream failed to materialize immediately. Try to just enjoy the visualization for the visualization's sake. Do a vision board now. It actually could be very satisfying to the soul. You can combine both the energies of Saturn and Neptune by dreaming big and working hard, willing to do what you need to do to take another step towards that dream manifesting. Now, just to wrap up, being a victim won't cut it anymore from now on, because Neptune and Saturn are no longer in the sign of the victim, where they've been, in Neptune's case, for 14 years, in Saturn's case, for 3 years. Now they're in the sign of the hero. So there's no more poor me, it's not fair, I'm missing out, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like, get your big girl, big boy pants on, and away you go, my friends. Make it happen. You be the hero of your own life. Neptune and Saturn are in Aries now. It's about you being Shira, warrior princess, or what was her name? Xena, warrior princess, or He-Man, masters of the universe. It's time for you to be your own hero. And now, my friends, we're going to explore what this amazing, life-changing conjunction means for all signs. Well, Aries, it is time for your astrological forecast for the Saturn Neptune conjunction. And of course, it's happening in your first house. This is so exciting for you, Aries, because you are going to feel the major impact. This is whether you are an Aries rising, sun, or moon person. Now, any of your long-held dreams may potentially come to fruition because of this conjunction. Now, that will only happen if you're a high vibe kind of soul. If you listen to the introduction that I gave to this video, you will have heard me talking about Jeffrey Wolf Green and Shuri Yukteswar's vision or version of what a high vibe soul actually is. If that's you, then this energy can bring about manifestation of your dreams. How exciting. So these dreams might have something to do with how you look, how you appear, how the world receives you. It can also have to do with something that you are initiating, something that you're establishing. It's not about just a dream to, hey, I'm going to win Tats Lotto and be a millionaire. It's more of a dream of, okay, I want to accomplish this. I want to start this entrepreneurial endeavor. I want my body to look like this. I want to have a relationship that looks like X, Y, Z. You know, this can indicate also a dream of success or popularity coming your way as well. So first house based dreams can actually fruit because of this conjunction. This is for high vibe souls, this is a conjunction that can bring about miracles. Neptune is miracles, Saturn is crystallization into earth reality. So believe it, assert it. Aries is an assertive sign. Tell the universe what you want. This is the energy that sees the fruitfulness of our dreams. Now, also, this is where we need to be a hero. Because remember, we've got this massive major conjunction occurring in the sign of Aries. It's all about stopping being a victim. Neptune and Saturn have been in Pisces for a number of years now. Now it's about being the hero. And you need to be a hero when it comes to you and comes to getting what you deserve out of life and comes to getting what you deserve out of your relationships. It's now all about saying, you know, I like these win-win situations in my life, and that's what I want. I don't want to be the victim anymore. I don't want to be the downtrodden one. I don't want people wiping their muddy boots on me anymore. This is about saying, I want to be treated this way, and I'm going to be a hero about it. I'm going to stand up and fight for what I deserve. Being a hero regarding who you are and what you receive from others and how you interact in the world is part of this first house conjunction energy. It's really about maintaining high ethics too, to get the best out of this energy. And that means that you need to maintain high ethics in anything that you initiate now. No cutting corners. Saturn won't allow it. You'll get the karma. Saturn is the Lord of karma here. You'll get the karma if you try and cut corners. Now it's about sticking with, you know, what is moral, what is ethical, what is right, regarding what you're initiating, regarding some entrepreneurial endeavor that you're establishing now, regarding initiating a relationship or a connection with other people, or putting yourself out there to attract an audience or clients or something like that. For our Aries people, you must remain ethical and above board in how you go about doing this. No telling people that you have qualifications in X, Y, Z, so come and get, you know, this service from me when you don't even have those qualifications. That is unethical, and it will get its just desserts because of this conjunction in the first house. So if you're initiating a new venture, some new entrepreneurial endeavor, if you're initiating maybe an exercise program or a health kick or a revitalization of your appearance, keep your ethics high. Keep your standards way up there. No bottom branches of the tree with this one. This is also an energy of the end of a cycle that began back in 1989 with the last conjunction, and now the new is coming in. So this can see a lot of closing out of whatever has been going on in your life for the last 30 years. Now, that could have been a relationship. It could have been maybe an attitude that you have towards a career. It could have been an attitude you had towards the care of your body. It's anything to do with your first house, reason for incarnation, how you interact with the world around you, what motivates you, the mask that you wear, the way you treat your body, the way you expect to be treated. The old is gone now, and the new is coming in for our Aries friends. So recently, or not recently, back in 1989, the conjunction occurred in Capricorn, which is your 10th house, my beautiful Aries friends. And so this meant that there was perhaps the start of a new cycle regarding career, worldly reputation, the legacy that you were building, that you hoped to leave for those who come after you. Now that cycle has ended, and the focus now shifts to you and what you're achieving in the world and what you want to show up in the world for. So just to remind you, this is the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. This is time to welcome in a new approach to your general prosperity, a new approach to happiness, a new approach to well-being, that this energy is ushering in. And you will notice this happening already in various facets of those elements of your life. Maybe, for example, you've started a new health regime, new diet, new exercise, or maybe you've cleared out your wardrobe and replaced all your old clothes with some more clothes that are flattering for you now. You are starting a new cycle with your appearance, with your health. You are starting a new cycle with perhaps your ability to be a hero about the amount of happiness your life holds for you. And you're changing your circumstances. Maybe you're wiping out some debts, or maybe you're moving into a career or establishing a new relationship that allows you to say goodbye to old ways, old paradigms, old mindsets, so that you can embrace more happiness. The new has come, new happiness, new strength for you, my Aries friends. And in Vedic astrology, this is a house of our general prosperity. So there is a new chapter of your life opening up now for general prosperity and flourishing in your life going forward from this conjunction onwards. How exciting, my beautiful Aries friends. Taurus rising, sun and moon people, this is your prediction for the Saturn Neptune conjunction, the one we have all been waiting for so long now. We've been feeling it for the last year, and it is finally here this week on the 20th or 21st, depending where you are in the world. So what does it mean for you? Well, it's forming in your 12th house, my beautiful Taurus friends. This is saying that something very spiritual, something from maybe past lives or something very angelic is happening in your life. When something like this occurs in the 12th house, the house of miracles and things happening out of the blue that seem orchestrated by fate, which is really in many ways what a miracle seems to be, doesn't it? This is happening in your house of miracles. What it means is that your long-held dreams that maybe you've thought were just way too far-fetched to ever see the light of day may actually manifest. And this would be the case for any high vibrational souls. I talked about what are high vibrational souls in the intro to this video. If that's you, then you may be seeing miracles happen in your life. Miracle healings, miracle opportunities coming your way, miracle new chances, new people who function like a miracle in your life coming into your life. This is the house of behind the scenes activity. So it's not going to be something that you necessarily manifest, this dream that fruits now. It's going to be something that the divine just gifts you. That if you're a high vibrational soul about to receive the fruiting of your dream, it's not going to come because you've pulled strings or you've gone to a certain place or met a certain person. It's going to come because the divine has made it happen. The divine has taken you there. The energy has caused the flow of life to go to you without any effort on your behalf. So in that sense, it could be quite an amazing time for our Taurus friends. Not only that, but this is in a really good energy, an energy of being a hero, because Saturn Neptune are no longer in Pisces, the sign of the victim. They're in the sign of the hero, the superhero, the warrior, Aries. So you may be a warrior, you may be a hero when it comes to dealing with your own self-destructive behaviors, because the 12th house has to do with the things that, destroy us, our psyche, our self-denial, our self-sabotaging, our martyrdom. These are 12th house practices in the shadow side. And so many of you might be doing a psychological deep dive now that is like a warrior with his sword, cutting out those old paradigms, cutting out those old destructive behaviors, and learning to take self-responsibility now to overcome those things. And we all know the Hermetic principle, as within, so without. When you change what's going on inside you, in your thought processes, but also particularly in this case, in the depths of your soul, then you find that miracles take place. As within, so without. The change within us brings changes in our external reality. I would pay attention in your heroic state to any intuitive feelings, to any forebodings, any signs, any omens that leap out at you now. Trust that intuition, my beautiful Taurus friends, and be a hero where those things are concerned. Now, this is also an energy, this conjunction, that asks of us to maintain very high morality and very high ethics. And I will just mention that this house is what we call a moksha house, a house of liberation, where we're letting something go. And so if something is dissolving out of your life, if you're disassociating from something, then be ethical about it. For example, let's say a relationship is dissolving out of your life. Are you going to be the one who throws the crockery across the room at your partner as they walk out the door? Or are you going to be the one who just acts as a mature, dignified person, allowing that partner the freedom to make choices for their own life and you make choices for yours? I talked about this actually with the eclipse energy, to be honest, but it's true. There are dignified, mature ways to handle things, and then there is the low vibe way. I had a person in recent times who decided that they were not happy with my services, and they're very, very rude about it. And when I asked them to no longer contact me, they went and splashed all over reviews on Google, etc., that I was a terrible person. So, this is a low vibe person. And in all our interactions, this Saturn Neptune conjunction requires of us to maintain high ethics, or else karma, because this is a house of karma. It's a house of all sorts of karma, good and bad. The 5th house and the 9th house have to do with good karma. This one, the 12th house, has to do with just general karma. So if you don't maintain these high ethics at this time, especially if something's leaving your life, if something's being let go of, if you're saying goodbye to something, and if you don't do it in an ethical way, then karma will be reaped. Maybe not straight away, but perhaps down the track, this would come your way. This is also the house that has to do with our spiritual life and our awakening, the awakening of our soul. And I did talk about soul awakening in the introduction to this video. Can I just say that the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is happening in this house to awaken your spiritual life, to awaken you to realities that maybe you didn't even realize were there, Taurus. Things like the other dimensions in the universe, things like the power of angels, the power of our deceased relatives to step in and intervene in what's going on in our lives, the power of our dreams, the power of miracles. The old is gone. Your old belief systems around what is spiritual, what is other dimensional, even if you may not have even believed in other dimensions before this. Well, the old is gone and the new has come. And the new will come because you maybe get a revelation, or maybe you have a dream that is like prophetic, and then it comes true the next day, and you're like, oh my God, there's something more to this life than just tangible earthly reality. This conjunction in your 12th house is here to show you there's more going on that meets the eye. There is karma, there is past lives, there is liberation and moksha. There can be secrets that come to light now because of this conjunction. And there is an awareness of where you've been a martyr, where you've been self-sacrificing. And this energy, in Aries especially, says time to say no more and draw a line in the sand. The 12th house is boundaries. It's boundarylessness. This energy says it's time to draw a boundary line and say, I'm not going to embrace XYZ any longer. It's really saying the old is gone, the old boundarylessness, people, wiping their muddy boots on me, walking all over me, circumstances doing the dirty on me, that's gone now. And Taurus, the new is coming in. In Vedic astrology, this is also the house of debts and expenses. And it could well be that this conjunction miraculously wipes out debts and expenses for Taurus people and allows a new clean slate to be drawn. You're beginning a new cycle here. I hope that's the case for everybody listening to this. There might be also maybe a brand new start, and start of a new cycle in some sense with the way you approach the pleasures of the bedroom, which are also seen from the 12th house. The things we do in private, the joy, the happiness that we experience in those private, intimate moments is seen from the 12th house. And if you've struggled with that, or if there's been issues around that and psychological hang-ups around that, well, Taurus, the new has come. The previous conjunction of Neptune and Saturn occurred in Capricorn, which is your 9th house. So that cycle began about 36 years ago, and it was happening, as I said, in Capricorn, your 9th house. So there was definitely, you've been in a cycle of discovery, of new ethics and morals and belief systems and philosophies for the past 30 years. And now the energy shifts to embracing a more high vibe, if you like, or a more otherworldly, perhaps is the term I'm looking for, otherworldly spirituality, an otherworldly sensitivity, an otherworldly refined energy that enters into your life now. And of course, all of these energies will be with you for the next 36 years to come. Gemini rising, sun and moon, you are having the conjunction of Neptune and Saturn falling in your 11th house, the sign of Aries in whole sign astrology. And of course, this is happening on the 20th or the 21st of this month, February, depending on where you are in the world, what day it will actually officially be. But it marks the end of a 36-year cycle. And what this means for the high vibe people amongst us, and I talked about this in the intro to this video, who is a high vibe person and who is not. For high vibe people, this is powerful, Gemini. You are having this conjunction in the house of our dreams, our goals, our wishes, our ambitions, the house of gainfulness. And when this happens to high vibe people, what happens? We see our long-term desires and wishes and ambitions fruit into manifested reality. I'm so excited for our Gemini friends. What a blessing to have this occurring here in your 11th house. This could also see some dreams that you might have had regarding your stepchildren or the children-in-law, if you want to call them that, coming to fruit as well. Dreams and aspirations for those children in your life. Dreams and aspirations for your friends and friendships, for the groups that you hang around with, for your sense of belonging with the wider circle of people in the world. Any dreams or goals or aspirations around those 11th house things may also fruit into reality at this time. And don't forget, this is an Upachaya house, which means as this 36-year cycle of Neptune-Saturn unfolds, you're going to find that it is going to get better and better and better as the cycle goes on. So you mightn't see things manifesting just like a lightning bolt out of the blue right now. Just know as this cycle unfolds over the next 36 years, more and more dreams coming true, more and more wishes manifesting into reality. This is also a house of what we need to do to effectively network and to effectively achieve our goals and dreams. And what does this conjunction speak to, Gemini? It speaks to being a hero, not a victim anymore. Not with Neptune and Saturn. They're out of Pisces now. They're in the sign of the warrior. This is what you need to do to effectively network. You need to be assertive. You need to go forward. You need to show up. You need to be present. You need to make your heroic entry into various circles and networks, etc., etc. You need to be a warrior when it comes to reaching out and connecting. So, you know, this is not the time, Gemini, for saying, it's so hard to make friends and I just don't connect with anybody out there in the world. People just don't get me. I feel like I'm always on the outer. This is victim mentality. No more of that. This is being a hero energy now. And you must say, you know, I can fit in with anyone. I can be part of any group. I've got something to contribute to society. I'm going to go and get involved. Be a hero, be a warrior when it comes to networking, friendships, and connections. It's all in your mindset, and this energy supports this approach right now. Gemini, not only being a hero regarding our friendships, but it's about being a hero regarding your contribution to the world. This is the house of the wealth that we can make from what we give to society, to the world, to humanity. So show up and do something good for humanity. This energy is calling you, not only to achieve your goals and dreams, but to stand up for the disadvantaged in the world, to stand up for what is good for humanity. Be a hero, be a warrior in that way. Yes, you might like to perhaps, be part of organizations or clubs or groups or, political parties even here, but do so with the energy of a warrior, not, how can I deceive people and fleece them for all they're worth. That's the old school approach to politics and groups and organizations. Hello, what are we finding out all about now? No. Go in with this warrior attitude, Gemini. This is your role for the next 36 years, to join humanity with the attitude of a hero and a warrior. I'm going to fix things. I'm going to turn this ship around. I am going to be righteous. And on that topic, this is a conjunction that speaks to us needing to embrace higher ethics and morals in this area, or else karma, because Saturn is the Lord of karma. You don't dot your I's, cross your T's, I'm sorry. Karma will come back to bite you with the way you treat your friends, the way you get involved or don't get involved with humanity in general, with big groups, organizations, political parties, all the activism, things like that. If you don't show ethics and morals in what you stand for now, and the relationships that you have with the world at large, then there may be karmic repercussions to pay over the next 36 years as this cycle goes through its processes. So it's a call to action, this conjunction. It's a blessing, absolutely, but it's also a call to action. I mean, how could it not be? It's in the sign of Aries, the sign of taking action. It is about being highly moral and ethical when it comes to our involvement with the world at large, with humanity, with community. So that's just the call to action here. Also, you need to maintain high ethics and high morals in what you're doing to achieve your dreams and goals and ambitions in the world. I mean, look at what's happening to a number of very well-known people whose careers are over. Be sure your sins will find you out, can be the motto here. Karma is coming home for a lot of people. And I don't want that to happen to anybody who listens to this report. I want you to stay in your truth, in your good karma, so only blessings flow your way over the next 36 years. So this is my suggestion. Take it or leave it. It's, of course, up to you, Gemini. But the one thing that I do want to reiterate here is that this is the end of an old cycle and the beginning of the new. The last conjunction of Neptune and Saturn occurred in Capricorn, the 8th house for a Gemini rising person. And so you have been on a journey, many of you Gemini people, with the occult, with deeper understandings, with getting to the bottom of what's really going on in the world, with uncovering secrets, with finding hidden meanings in things. This has been your journey for 36 years. It may have also been your journey to understand your own sexual expression and sexuality. It may have also been your journey to grapple with other people's money, inheritances, wills, taxes, blah, blah, blah. That cycle is done now. That cycle is finished now. The new cycle begins in the 11th house. And in Vedic astrology, this is a house of winnings. It's a house of ventures. It's a house of gains and profits. So you are beginning a whole new cycle that will last 36 years where this is the focus. So you can celebrate and say goodbye to everything that you've learned. Well, not everything you've learned, but to the old cycle and thank it for what you've learned. And now it's time to open the door and welcome in the new cycle that is beginning, that's going to see you achieve more and more of your ambitions over the next 36 years, gain more, create more success in your life. I do love the 11th house. It is the house of the loss of loss, and therefore it's the house of our great gains. This is because it's the 12th house from the 12th. So what does that mean? It means any old cycles of loss are gone now. Now is a cycle of gain that is establishing. I love this energy. Think about it, Gemini. 8th house is death. 8th house is a house of death. So the old cycle of letting things go, losing things dying and leaving our life has ended. And what is happening now? We are welcoming in. We are gaining. The new cycle begins. And isn't it a beautiful one? My dear friends, I hope this is such a blessing for you for the next 36 years. Precious Cancer, rising, sun and moon people, we are having a conjunction of Saturn and Neptune occurring in Aries, which is your 10th house. This is happening on the 20th or the 21st of February, depending where you are in the world, of course. But this is a cycle that is establishing itself for the next 36 years. So it's not just this week. It's going to be flowing to us and flowing from us over the next 36 years of our life. So how is it going to affect us? Well, my Cancer friends, if you are a high vibrational person, in other words, if you listen to the intro of this video, if you're somebody who operates at a high maturation level, then you're going to see your long-held career dreams begin to fruit now, come to fruition and manifest, but only if you're a high vibe soul. So lovely energy. It means that you might be seeing some opportunity for leadership fruit in your life, some career dream you've always held fruiting. Now this could be, because it's in the sign of Aries, some entrepreneurial endeavor is fruiting as your career now. It could mean, for example, that you're establishing a business and working for yourself independently, and you've always dreamed of doing that. Know that the universe has your back if that's you, because here comes this energy in your 10th house. Big 36-year cycle of success in a very career-oriented, socially-oriented way. And I say socially-oriented because this is the house of our social obligation and our social responsibilities. So not only are you starting potentially a new career here, Aries, or a new entrepreneurial endeavor, but you are also starting something perhaps to do with this career that has qualities to it of responsibility and social obligation. So let's say that you're starting a some kind of a school of something that you know very well, something that you can teach and share, and you're starting some sort of a school and you're going to teach people. Along with that comes the necessity to teach people not only the skill sets, but the ethics and the morals and the principles behind the skill sets that you're teaching. Do you see what I'm saying here? There is a social obligation to whatever career you're establishing at this time. So you will need to fulfill those sorts of things with whatever you're establishing. Now, if you are not establishing some entrepreneurial endeavor or your own line of career or line of work, then you might be getting an opportunity for more leadership, more public visibility, a higher profile position. And in that sense, for our beautiful Cancer friends, this is an opportunity maybe to see a long-held dream fruit in terms of the role you have in society, the reputation that you have, the image that you have, that you put out to society in terms of the authority that you present and that you carry. So for those of you who are retired, who are not interested in career, this is the house of the legacy that you will leave when you're gone. And some of you might be working on creating a legacy, whatever that might look like for you. Some long-held dreams around the legacy you want to give to maybe your grandchildren or society, or to maybe your children. What is this legacy that you're going to leave? You can be more successful and fruitful with that legacy right now. If you don't have any desire to leave anything of value behind, I'm not just talking material value, I'm talking about maybe something that's really a part of who you are. Maybe it's a recipe book that you lived by your whole life and you wrote all these recipes down in a recipe book. Let's say that's the legacy, that's available to you to leave. Maybe it's some sort of your philosophies on life. Are you collating your philosophies and stories of your life to bless those who come after you? Whatever it is. If you don't have a legacy and a dream, well then nothing can fruit. If you have no career, if you have no ideals for a legacy, no dreams to leave a legacy of any way, shape or form, if you have no desire to be an inspiration to others, then this whole conjunction may actually, I have to say it, go to waste, Cancer, because this is an opportunity that the universe presents us with to see if we're a high vibe person, long-held dreams in the realm of the 10th house fruit for us. What do you want to pass on to other people? What do you want to achieve in society for the greater good? Ask yourself these questions. This is where the energy is flowing. Now, not only that, my beautiful Cancer rising, sun and moon people, this is happening in the sign of Aries, and it's all about leaving victim mentality behind and embracing being a hero. it's just so exciting for me to see this energy forming in Cancer's 10th house, because of all the signs I encounter, it's Cancer that needs to embrace this hero capacity more than any other. And I just encourage you, my beautiful Cancer friends, your hero energy needs to be directed to maybe helping somebody else achieve their goals and dreams. This is what the 10th house is. It's the father energy in Western astrology. What does a father do? They support us. A good father should. They support us. They encourage us. They give us wisdom. This is part of the 10th house energy as well. You need to be a hero with that. How can you be an inspiration to others? How can you do so in a heroic way? How can you step up to help other people achieve their goals and dreams for their life? Be a hero in terms of maybe leadership as well. Take that role of leadership and stand firm and strong like the warrior that you can be, Cancer. I spoke earlier about Cancer people establishing businesses and entrepreneurial endeavors, etc., new careers. Well, see your role in that career as a heroic one. You are in that role, or maybe you've got a promotion or something, to lead others and inspire others, and doing so in like the superhero way. Like, I have skills and knowledge and wisdom to give you. Let me give it to you. No shirking. No, mealy mouthing it. No sort of being sniveling about, well, I could really show you how to do this, if you none of that. We are straight up. We're no mucking around, straight to the point. I've got something to share and show you and lead you in. Follow me. Be a hero in your career, in the worldly achievements that you desire. Now, another thing that we need to recognize is this conjunction speaks to maintaining high ethics. And Saturn is the Lord of Karma. If you choose to go about things by cutting corners or doing the dirty or being a bit secretive and manipulative, then karma will come back to you. Perhaps not straight away, but at least over the next 36 years of this cycle, that may be the case. Saturn always calls us to deal with things in the most highly ethical way possible. And so this applies to how you're establishing maybe a small business or an entrepreneurial endeavor. Do it ethically. No cutting corners, no shirking things, no, foregoing permits or legalities or things like that. Saturn calls us to meet our earthly responsibilities. Not only that, but if you are in a position of leadership, you need to retain high ethics, high morals in your leadership. And let's face it, look at everybody out there at the moment being exposed for being absolutely shit leaders. Do they have high ethics? Do they have high morals? No, absolutely not. And karma is coming home to roost for those people. And this should be a wake-up call to all of us. If we are in a position of power and leadership, as the 10th house speaks to, even if we're retired, this is the energy of the patriarch or the matriarch here. If we're in a patriarchal or matriarchal role to our family, we must do so with ethics. We must do so with high morals, or it will come back to bite us. I just want to put that out there for you. Your aims and your goals are seen here too, and what you want to do what you want to be successful at in life is seen through the 10th house. High ethics, high morals around those things as well is required. The final thing that we want to explore here in the 10th house, my beautiful Cancer friends, is the end of this cycle. It's a 36-year cycle that began 36 years ago, roughly, and it happened with a conjunction of Neptune and Saturn in Capricorn. Now, the conjunction is in Aries. So basically, the conjunction occurred in your 7th house. It was a cycle, a 36-year cycle about relationships, about partnerships. Not necessarily that partnerships always worked out for you over the last 36 years, but it was about maturation, about leveling up, about learning lessons in collaborations, partnerships, and ethical treatment of other people. It has been about establishing win-win situations or walking away from situations that did not provide win-win. It has been a cycle very focused on relationships and contracts and agreements and negotiations. Now that cycle is over. No more focus on that. Now the focus shifts to everything I've just been describing. Career, worldly success, achievement, having leadership, and being an example and an inspiration to other people. My dear friends, the old cycle has finished. This new cycle has begun. This is where the next 36 years of this cycle will focus our attention on our worldly achievement, on our legacy, and being able to visualize and see what it is you want to achieve in this area of life is really so important so that you can make great strides forward knowing where you're going. Leo, rising sun and moon, this is your forecast with a Saturn Neptune conjunction occurring in the 9th house. What a blessing for our Leo friends. This is one of the most auspicious houses in Vedic astrology. What a great place to be having this amazing conjunction occurring. This is happening on the 20th or the 21st of February, depending where you are in the world, but it is a 36-year cycle, so it's going to be active from now on, essentially. This, if you're a high vibrational Leo person, and I spoke about what a high vibrational person is in the beginning of this video. If you're a high vibrational person, then you are going to see long-held dreams come to fruition because Saturn crystallizes and Neptune is our dreams. This can happen. We may see many high vibrational souls achieving what they've always wanted now. And here in the 9th house, this could be anything related to foreign travel or living in a foreign place, perhaps might be crystallizing and manifesting for you now. It could be that it has to do with grandchildren. Maybe you've always dreamed of having grandchildren, and finally along comes this conjunction and it happens for you. It manifests for you. This is also a very spiritual house, a house of communication with the gods. If you have dreamed of being able to not influence the divine, but actually communicate with the divine, to hear the divine, to get messages from the divine, to really know spirit, this is a time when that can fruit for you. If you've always dreamed of being prophetic, well, hello, this energy is just what you need, the tonic that your soul needs to allow that activation to happen. Some of you Leo people might be finding that you have great sort of one-on-one connection with divine knowledge, divine wisdom now, communication with the gods. Not only that, but this is also a house of good karma. It's because you have done good things in previous lives, or maybe an earlier in this lifetime, that you now are seeing karmic fruit, karmic miracles unfold. Saturn is karma, Neptune is miracles. This is the fruition of some of your greatest, perhaps, dreams and aspirations and longings here. I'm excited for you, my Leo friends. This is the house of what gives our life meaning, otherwise known as our dharma, our purpose, our mission. And what is your dharma? What is your purpose and mission, my beautiful Leo friends? Well, this is the dream that can now manifest for you. I'm a Leo person. I've always dreamed of having a little self-sufficient property. Everyone who's been following my channel for years knows this has been dear to my heart. Well, maybe that, for me as a Leo sun person, may manifest. I don't know, miracles happen. Long-held dreams regarding what we feel deep down within us is our purpose and our dharma and our mission can manifest. Maybe you've had a dream of being some sort of guru, teacher, wise person, which is very 9th house, maybe an inspirational figure, and now you get the chance. That long-held dream comes into fruition with this conjunction occurring in your 9th house, my beautiful Leo friends. Whatever your personal dharma is, whatever gives your life meaning, can actually fruit for you now. Fortuna is on your side. Oh, I feel teary, sorry. I'm just feeling a really strong divine wave and I feel very goosebumpy and teary all at once. So bless you, my beautiful Leo friends. What gives your life meaning, for many of you people out there listening to this, I know is going to fruit for you. That purpose, that meaning, that dharma. Oh, I'm so excited for you, Leo. That's wonderful, wonderful energy. This is also the house of higher education. Now, if you've wanted to study something at a higher level, learn new things, this energy can fruit for you too. You know what it's like in Western countries at the moment? They've priced everyday ordinary people out of higher education. And it's really sad that that's happened. But this energy might see, actually, I would suggest maybe for many Leo people, a shift of that energy. Maybe old structures and paradigms in that way come crashing down for Leo people, and they find mechanisms and ways to get high-level education without the massive debt. This could be quite liberating. Long-held dreams for study may manifest for you now. Long-held dreams for travel as well, if you've dreamed of traveling. Now, of course, all these fruiting dreams in all these ninth house ways that I'm speaking of will happen for the high vibe souls. I just need to reiterate that now. So going on a long journey might have been a dream. You always wanted to visit the Amalfi Coast, drive down the highway like your Grace Kelly, you know. Maybe this is the manifestation that comes and crystallizes for you now, my Leo friends. Maybe this is a lucky house. It is a house governed by Fortuna, the goddess of good fortune. This is an energy of luck and fortune. If you're constantly dreaming of having that lucky break, not a windfall, I'm talking about some lucky opportunity, some lucky chance that eventuates, a door that opens for you to step through into a whole new paradigm of life. Well, again, this could be what manifests most beautifully out of this conjunction for our Leo friends. But let's look at some other factors that this conjunction can bring. It's happening in the sign of Aries. It's very much about embracing our warrior and our hero energy in the ninth house. For many Leo people, this is about standing up for your beliefs, standing up for what you align with, what your philosophy is. Now, I'm feeling the call as a Leo person to do this through my World Astrology channel and start talking about the charts and the way I interpret them through my lens of my philosophy, my belief, my understanding. So maybe that's my calling, to stand up and be a hero, be a warrior, maybe not a hero, but be a warrior regarding my beliefs through maybe that channel. What about you? You can be a hero regarding what you believe, what you stand for, what your 2 cents is. Be a hero in that regard. You can also be a hero perhaps in how you're interacting with your grandchildren. Stand up and be a warrior in some way with regard to your grandchildren. Do your grandchildren need you to step in and be a hero in their life? I hope not, but if they do, maybe that's what this is calling you to do, Leo. This is also the house of the life partner of your younger sibling, if you have one. You may need to be a hero in that regard to your younger sibling's partner. Maybe you can step in and be a warrior for something that they need in their life. This is also a chance to be a hero and a warrior regarding your freedom, your liberation, and finding your truth. Do what you've got to do. Be that warrior going in and finding out what is real, what's at the bottom of things, what is the reality. I will just also say, Leo, that you are required, we all are required, to maintain high ethics in order to avoid karma coming back and biting us on the butt. This is because Saturn, the Lord of Karma, is involved in this conjunction. So no giving in to the Neptunian energies of deception here. This is about integrity. And I would just encourage you, if you move into an area of inspiration where you're a guru or a spiritual leader, as this house represents, you need to maintain your ethics. I can think of one person who has a strong 9th house, 8th house energy, who was listed very frequently in the recent files that have been exposed. That person's whole career has come crashing down around them because they did not maintain high ethics as a spiritual wisdom giver. I'm sure you can all imagine who it is I'm talking about. Karma. Karma is, I was going to say karma's a bitch, but no, karma's awesome in this case. Bring it on. But for you, my beautiful Leo friends, keep your integrity as a spiritual leader, as a spiritual wisdom giver. No painting a false picture. No, leading people up the garden path. No doing the dirty when you're trying to present a pure image to society. This is very, very important. High ethics, high morals. Yeah. I'll just leave it there. This is also an end of a cycle, Leo. The last time this cycle began was back in the late 80s, and it occurred in Capricorn, which is your 6th house. So the focus, Leo, I know it. The focus for the last 36 years has been hard work, 6th house energy, doing the hard day-to-day existence, showing up for work, earning the money to pay the bills, getting by, doing what you got to do to put bread on the table. That has been the cycle. That has been the journey. 6th house energy. For some of you Leos, maybe the journey was all about dealing with health issues, dealing with well-being or lack of. Maybe the cycle was all about dealing with unfairness and imbalance and injustice, because that's what the 6th house is all about. Well, that cycle comes to an end. Hallelujah. Leo, celebrate. I'm teary again. Oh my God. This cycle has ended, and welcome in now the new cycle beginning in the house of blessing, luck, fortune, spiritual development, wisdom, being an inspiration, taking trips, learning more higher knowledge and higher wisdom. The old is gone. Celebrate with me, Leo. The new has come. Beautiful Virgo, rising, sun and moon people. Well, hello. You are having the energy of the Saturn Neptune conjunction occurring in your 8th house. What a powerful place to have this conjunction. This is happening on the 20th or the 21st of February, depending where you are in the world, and it is the end of an old cycle and the beginning of a new one. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But let me just say, Virgo, that if you are a high vibrational person, somebody who is functioning in the 20% of humanity that is awakened, then you have the potential under this energy to see your long-held dreams of an 8th house nature come to fruition now. Fruit into being. I'm excited for you, Virgo. This is wonderful. For many Virgo people, if you have dreamed of having maybe some sort of occult practice, maybe as an astrologer or a tarot reader or an energy healer or a shaman or a psychologist, maybe even as a surgeon, that's an 8th house thing, then those dreams can absolutely fruit into reality as a result of this conjunction in your 8th house. If you have always dreamed of being able to tap into the mystical realms, the other magical dimensions, and understand them, if you have always dreamed of being able to be a healer in the lives of other people, then those long-held dreams may just fruit into reality if you're a high-vibe person. Not only that, but we all know the 8th house is a house in its highest vibrational sense of windfalls, of inheritances, of blessings. Let me just say, this could actually manifest for you as a result of this conjunction. Now, it may not manifest this week. This is a 36-year cycle, but at some stage over the next 36 years, the issues of inheritance and receiving money, unearned money, money that you did not go out there by the sweat of your brow to earn, money that comes to you, let's say undeservedly, is yours. That can fruit now for our Virgo friends. So in that sense, it's an exciting time, and you might be toying and playing with these themes over the whole of the next 36 years. So these are the energies that could manifest. If you've always dreamed of, winning a lottery or something like that, 8th house has connections to lottery if it's tied into the 5th house. And it is in this case. Let me just say, I'll talk about that in a second for you as well. But this could actually see the fruiting of a lucky break. I will talk about that in just a second. Let me just say, my beautiful Virgo friends, that you might be seeing your long-held dreams regarding payouts and windfalls fruit for you now. So these are the things that could come if you're high vibrational. The other way this can manifest, or another way that this will show in our lives, is through the necessity to be a hero. And you know what? In the sign of Aries, this conjunction says you need to be a hero around 8th house things, Virgo. You need to stand up like a warrior for your beliefs in occult practices. Knowing the truth of astrology, if someone's rubbishing astrology, you're going to need to stand up and say, now hang on a minute, let me prove to you astrology is the real deal, and I can show you I've got evidence. Be a hero, be a warrior around your occult beliefs and occult practices. Be a hero and a warrior regarding maybe, some kind of inheritance issue where maybe you have to stand up and fight for what you and your siblings deserve in some circumstance. I hope that's not the case. I hope you don't have to go and fight about it, but there can be sometimes a requirement to fight for what you stand to receive, perhaps. You may be also called, Virgo, in perhaps a difficult sense, this is a moksha house, of course, to fight for something, so fight over a breakdown of something, fight for your right in a breakdown of a marriage, fight for a marriage to be maintained. Maybe you're fighting against the disintegration of a marriage. This can also happen. Maybe you're going to be a warrior or a hero in some sort of catastrophe, some sort of tragedy. May I just say, nothing to be afraid of with that, Virgo, because Saturn is a malefic planet in Vedic astrology in a malefic house here, causing this conjunction. And therefore, when we have two malefic energies, house and planet, coming together, it wipes out the negativity. So you will have the victory. It doesn't mean you won't have to be the warrior, but by being the warrior, you will win. You will be the hero. You will overcome. You can overcome a catastrophe. You can overcome a tragedy. You can overcome, the threat of divorce or some sort of breakdown, etc. This is the time to step into renewal and rebirth and reactivation of your life. And by being heroic, rather than being the victim, you will be able to be regenerated in your life in some way. Saturn, Neptune are no longer in the sign of the victim. Now they're in the sign of the hero. And that's why I say this. You have the potential to win out over all the difficulties of life now, all the shocks of life, all the sudden upheavals of life. You will come out the hero on top of it all. This is an energy that can say that out of disaster, you can come out in a much better place than you were before. You can come out on top of the mountain. So don't be afraid to fight. Don't sit there and go, poor me, this happened to me, it's so sad, nothing ever goes right for me. No, how can you fight and overcome this circumstance? Because if you take that attitude, that Aries in the 8th house attitude, you will be the hero, you will be victorious, you will overcome. Just embrace your inner Wonder Woman or your inner Superman. What else can we see here? Well, this is really a house, the energy of this conjunction is about maintaining high ethics. Saturn is karma, and here in the 8th house, it requires you to be very moral and very ethical in all your sexual interactions with other people. This is not an energy of, having a one-night stand and getting up and, sneaking off first thing the next morning. It's not about doing what everybody being exposed on those lists was doing. That's not high ethics. That's not high morals. It's quite the opposite. Now, I'm not saying that you Virgo people do that, but I'm using it as an illustration. If you don't maintain high sexual ethics and high sexual morals, be sure your sins will find you out. Karma will undo you at some point in the next 36-year cycle. The 8th house is a house of cheating and affairs. And so with that in mind, high ethics, high morals, or else you're going to come off second best, Virgo. Keep that in mind for the future as well. This is also very important to note that if you are practicing something mystical or magical or occult or esoteric, which is what the 8th house rules, you need to keep high ethics and high morals in that regard as well. I mean, we've all heard of the people at the local show dressed up as gypsies giving, rubbish fortunes to people for $10. That's not going to cut it now. This is about having standards, having high quality, giving people the truth, not just telling them what their itching ears want to hear. High ethics, high morals, if you're in a position as a mystical healer or any kind of healer. High ethics, high morals if you're a surgeon. High ethics, high morals if you're a psychologist. High ethics, high morals if you're a Reiki practitioner. It doesn't matter. These healing practices require you to have the highest of integrity now, or else karma will come back to bite you, as we're seeing happen in the world right now. The final thing that I want to mention for my beautiful Virgo friends is the end of this cycle. Well, you know what? Last time Saturn and Neptune met was in Capricorn, your 5th house. And this is what I was alluding to a little earlier. The 5th house is the house of luck. Lucky windfalls. 8th house is the windfalls. 5th house is luck. So your last conjunction was in the 5th house of luck. This conjunction in the 8th house of windfalls. This could tie in together to bring about a lucky break in the next couple of weeks. I would not suggest that it's going to bring you some sort of lucky windfall, lucky break in any way, shape or form over the next 36 years, because the old cycle is dying now. It's ending, and the new cycle is born. And so really the new cycle here is all about embracing this 8th house energy I've been describing, living it, breathing it, focusing your energy on 8th house things for the next 36 years. But what is closing out is perhaps a focus on children, perhaps a focus on some aspect of your creativity, perhaps a focus on celebrity that's dying now in your life, perhaps there's a focus on sports and entertainment, which is a very 5th house thing. That is coming to a conclusion now. Let me give you an illustration. Maybe you've been an entertainer for, the biggest portion of the last 36 years. And maybe now it's time to retire and move into a different field because your day as an entertainer is done. 5th house energy coming to a close. That's one example. Use your imagination. There's many ways with the things I've just described that may manifest for us. So what we're seeing here is a conclusion of 5th house things and a welcoming in of the 8th house of the new. With that in mind, you might be welcoming in a new career change, because the 8th house has to do with changing careers. It's the 11th house. It's the 8th house, so it speaks to change, but it's also the 11th house from the 10th. Career change for the better. Career change for more lucrative ends is represented by the 8th house. It could also mean the new cycle is focused on perhaps leaning on a partner's resources now more than your own. It could be a new cycle that has to do with inheritance or a payout or some kind of some sort of a receiving something from other people that you didn't actually earn. A new cycle to do with deep diving into the occult or occultic practices perhaps. A new cycle regarding sexual ethics and morals and principles. A new cycle regarding sexuality and understanding your sexuality and living it in integrity and truth for yourself, for your happiness. This is a house of liberation, and this is a new cycle that you are beginning for the next 36 years that's going to liberate you, set you free, and help you upgrade to whoever you are 2.0. That's what this is all about. This is about soul growth here in this house. Lovely Librans, here we are in the 7th house of your chart, looking at the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune. This is being exact on the 20th or 21st of this month, depending where you are in the world, what day it will actually be exactly. But this is a powerful energy that is beginning a whole new 36-year cycle. So everything I'm speaking of now has the potential to manifest over the next 36 years. The themes of this 36-year cycle will be playing out all the time, to do with the 7th house, to do with partnership, to do with relationship, to do with love and companionship, commitment, all these 7th house things. So Libra, I'm so pleased to tell you, if you're a high vibrational Libran soul, then what is going on here is that your long-held dreams regarding connection, partnership, relationship, commitment are manifesting into reality now. Now, do I have to spell this out for you? Libra, this could look like a committed partnership coming your way at some stage in the next 36 years, hopefully in the early part of this 36-year cycle for you. If you are a partnered Libran person, this could look like the deepening and strengthening of your love relationship with your partner that's going to be enhanced and fulfilled and grown over the next 36 years. So lovely, so lovely. If you are in a business partnership, or you've been looking for someone to partner with you, someone to collaborate with you, someone to back you in something, someone to go into business with, and you've had a dream of, if I could just find someone to collaborate with on this particular field or this particular skill set, then we would just be, doing fantastic. You're going to find that person. Your long-held dreams about connection with the right people is going to fruit into reality. My beautiful Librans, if you've had a dream of having the perfect client list and you're a high vibe Libran soul, this conjunction can bring that about for you. If you've had a dream of winning a court case and coming out on top and you've been battling a court case for years, lo and behold, it can come to reality here. This is the house of court cases, or one of the houses of court cases as well. It's a house of all legalities, okay? So you can come out on top. If you have desired and dreamed of a fair and just world, Libra, hello. Most of us Librans, we do. We get so furious. I can speak as a Libran moon person. Nothing infuriates me more than the injustices in the world and the imbalances in the world. The fact that there are countries with so many resources and mineral rich that are so incredibly poor because they've been exploited. Oh my God, don't get me started. Injustice, imbalance, lack of fairness makes our blood boil as Librans. If you've had dreams of let's hope this comes to pass. If you've had dreams, Librans, of the world being a more fair and just and equitable place, dear God, let it be the case. Dear God, let it manifest over the next 36 years. This is also really, really interesting to have this conjunction in your 7th house, I have to say, my beautiful Librans, because this is air in the sign of Aries, the sign of the hero, but it's in the 7th house of other people. So it's really interesting. The 7th house is the mirror of ourself. It's what other people's perceptions of us can be. So you might find, my beautiful Libran friends, that other people start to see you as a bit of a warrior goddess, a warrior god, like Aries. You know, maybe not like Aries, maybe more like Mars. Aries was a bit of a dodgy god. But anyway, no offense, Aries, if you're listening, but that was the reputation that he had in ancient Greece. Nonetheless, being the warrior princess, being the Wonder Woman, being the Superman, I love Spider-Man, being the Spider-Man, being the hero, other people are going to perceive you as someone who can fight for them, who'll stand up for righteousness, who will go into battle for justice. You know what? Libra, this is so bizarre. Libra is one of the energies in horary astrology that is considered to be a violent sign. Would you believe it? I'll tell you why. Because Libra gets violent and angry over injustice. So it's violence with a cause, or it's warriorness, let's say, with a cause. And this is going to be the perception that other people have of you. Somebody who will fight for injustices. This is why a lot of Libran people become lawyers, because they like to go into battle for unjust situations. Bring it on. Libra, that's how other people are going to see us. Also, the 7th house represents the law of attraction. It shows us what type of people we tend to attract into our life. And with this conjunction happening in the 7th house, Libra, you're going to attract heroes into your life. You're going to attract warriors. You're going to attract the Wonder Woman kind of energy into your life. So you might be partnering with heroes as well. You might be collaborating with other warrior souls out there at this time over the next 36 years. Certainly, as a Libran moon, I can absolutely vouch for the fact that my husband is very much the warrior type energy, the hero, superhero kind of energy. He has Mars in his 1st house. That makes him very much that way, and he's just that kind of an energy. So this is the kind of thing you'll be attracting in. That's somebody who'll stand up and fight for you, Libra, or fight alongside of you, even better, that you can be a team together. How lovely to attract people like that into your life, either as partners, but maybe as clients, maybe as your audience or business partners. Now, my hope is that this isn't an indication that you will be having to war with these people, because Aries is the god of war, and it's my hope that the higher vibrational energies will manifest for our Libran friends here watching this video, and that would be to have that warrior attitude and to attract warrior people, not to attract people who are aggressive, bossy, domineering, pushy, all the shadow sides of this Aries energy. Now, I have to say, my Libran friends, that this combination involves Saturn, the Lord of Karma, as well. Meeting here, establishing a 7th house influence for the next 36 years of this cycle. And it requires us to have high ethics, high principles, and high morals when it comes to the contracts we sign, the agreements we enter into, any legalities we're dealing with, any court cases that we're going through, any negotiations. We must remain ethical. And if we don't, karma is going to come back and bite us, because Saturn is the Lord of karma. So keeping balance, keeping fairness, keeping justice to, all your social situations, all your public relations, all your contracts, all your one-on-one partnerships is imperative, Libra. Do keep this in mind for the next 36 years. And you're very much drawn to doing this anyway. It's your nature to want fairness and equality and justice in your partnership. So it's going to be a walk in the park for you, Libra, really. But Saturn, who is exalted in your natal sign, is saying, so he's your exaltation planet, is saying, keep the ethics and the morals and the principles. And this is why I think, Saturn is exalted in the sign of Libra, because it's about high ethics, high morals, high principles for justice and fairness and equality. So bring it on. Libra, keeping that in mind won't be a hard thing for you to do because you're naturally inclined that way anyway. So I'm very pleased to say. The final thing I want to talk about, Libra, is the fact that this is ending an old cycle. The old is gone, the new has come, and the old cycle began about 36 years ago in the sign of Capricorn, your 4th house. So this means that for the last 36 years, throughout this period, not the entire time, but coming up again and again and again throughout this 36-year period, have been issues of family. Oh, I feel teary. Family, home, where you live, where you put down roots, your tribe, your sense of belonging. These have been issues you've been grappling with for the last 36 years, Libra. These are the issues that the universe is trying to mature you in and help you move forward in, grow you in, because of the conjunction occurring here last time. And now that cycle's coming to an end. You've done the work. You have matured. You have grown. You have a greater attitude to family, a greater attitude to parenting, a greater attitude to where you live and the tribe and the community that you belong to now, that you've been through this tremendous learning process over the last 36 years. You've come full circle and you've grown and you've stepped up the ladder of enlightenment with 4th house things. Now, Libra, we're moving into 7th house things. Now it's about partnership. Now it's about give and take. Now the cycle is focused on all these 7th house things we've been talking about, that it's going to be the case for the next 36 years, about getting what you deserve and making sure that your partners get what they deserve as well in any negotiations, in any deals, in any situations. It's about fairness. And so, Libra, that's where the focus goes for the next 36 years. I'm excited for you. This means wonderful things for you going forward into the future. Sensational, Scorpio. Well, we are looking at the conjunction of Neptune and Saturn in your 6th house. And this is happening on the 20th or the 21st of this month, February, depending on where you are in the world, will depend what actual day it is. But it's going to be with us for the next 36 years because this is the beginning of a brand new cycle. And if you're a high vibe kind of, not Sagittarius, Scorpio person, this means that you have the potential to manifest long-held dreams into fruition now, but they'll have to have a 6th house overtone to them, a 6th house theme to them. So what could this mean? If you've dreamed of a fit, healthy, functioning body, it may manifest into reality. You might also manifest some kind of high-level healing, perhaps, in your physical realm as well. Good health is part of the 6th house energy that might fruit into manifestation for you now, Scorpio. If you've had a struggle that you're dealing with, trying to find a healthy, balanced outcome in life, if you've been dealing with a conflict or an adversity, then what might manifest is a resolution, a solution that leaves you the victor on top of the game. One of the things that the 6th house is all about when we have malefic planets there, and in this case we've got Saturn as a malefic planet there, is finding a solution. Malefic planets in malefic houses give the ability to be able to come out on top, to be victorious in a difficult situation. And often in the 6th house case, it's kind of like, Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler in the war, the Civil War. They came out very wealthy on top of everything because they utilized that downfall of the Southern society to create businesses that flourished, and they were able to make money for themselves. And this is the kind of thing that we're looking at here. The struggles, the adversities, the conflicts in society right now and in your own life, you may actually come out victoriously on top of those things because of this energy now conjuncting in your 6th house. So this could be, if you dream of coming out the victor in a court case, and winning that settlement deal, then that may be the dream that manifests for you now. If you dream of coming out the other side of a divorce situation, or a debt situation, or a lack of education or something, coming out victoriously at the other side, where you pay out the debt and then some, you actually get the education that you need for the success in your life that you long for, that you win that divorce settlement that you're working through. These kinds of things are what the sixth house is all about, coming out victorious. And so also this can represent cleansing and purging of something. So it's not necessarily a house of letting go, but it is a house of purging and cleansing, practically cleaning something out. So if part of your long-held dreams have to do with clearing something out, freeing yourself of something that's weighing you down, or being left holding the bag in some situation, if you've been in a situation where you're struggling to clear certain energies or toxicities, or actually physically practically clear your home or your environment from something negative, then this can be part of what might fruit for you now. Also, and this is something really very powerful, more powerful and important perhaps than anything else in the horoscope, one thing that might fruit for you is the clearing of karma. This house, the sixth house, is the house where we clear our karmic debt. And this conjunction may indicate the wiping clean of the slate for you, clearing away any past life karma or toxic energies or things that pull you down from past lives can be cleared now. This may be the dream that comes true. And of course, in the Hermetic principles, once something is cleared from within you, the karma, the psychic attitude that you're carrying from past lives or whatever that is represented by karma is cleared, then we start to manifest everything we dream of and want on the external reality. But the hang-ups, the hangovers from past lives, the attitudes, the difficulties that hang around us from our past life experiences need to be cleared in order for the beauty and the balance to return to life. And this may be what is manifesting now with this conjunction here at its highest level of fruition. Another thing that this could represent is perhaps a really great day-to-day work life. Now, this seems fairly ordinary, but when you're struggling just to put food on the table, or there's been difficulty paying the bills and that sort of thing, when we're in that sort of situation, sometimes the biggest dream we have is just to have a harmonious, balanced life where the bills are easily taken care of, the food is abundant, and we are actually thriving and manifesting very easily in life. And this might be something that we aspire to perhaps in our life as well, just ease of day-to-day living. That can be a dream that comes true for many Scorpio people as well. So this is the kind of stuff that it seems very ordinary, it seems very plain, but it's actually absolutely essential to happiness in life, to have our everyday existence in balance. Now, another energy that is associated with this conjunction is the need to become a hero or a warrior. And there is no better house to be a hero or a warrior in than the sixth house. And this is because this energy is conjuncting in Aries. So this is giving you the power to fight for injustice, to fight for the underdog, to fight for people who are in positions of lack, who don't have the resources, who don't have the education, who don't have the access to credit, who don't have freedom from war and tyranny. You, my beautiful Scorpio people, are so capable of fighting for the good, fighting for justice now. Now, quite literally, over the next 36 years, this could see you be, moving into maybe becoming a lawyer for, maybe you're fighting for people who can't fight for themselves in the law courts, for example. It could see some of you Scorpio people, depending on your natal chart, going into the military to, hopefully for worthy causes. Let's say the military has often been used by corrupt systems for corrupt purposes over the years, unfortunately, despite the good intentions of the people in the military. But it could look like going into the military to actually, literally be a warrior or a hero in a fight for justice or a fight for good, let's hope. It could be that you become a doctor who is practicing ethical medicine, there's not many of them out there, but there, you may go down that road, Scorpio, and become an ethical medical practitioner, and you are leading the charge and being the warrior for ethical medicine, and holistic medicine and healing. It could be any kind of hero, any kind of healer, that you are being some sort of a warrior, a hero about. So that's what this is all about, practically using your skills, your talents to become a hero and a warrior in these everyday fields of life: health, well-being, sorting out debt, sorting out problems, ending conflict, creating fairness and balance in a world where it's lost. So Scorpio, you have an amazingly inspirational role to fulfill over the next 36 years of this cycle. Let me just also say, beautiful Scorpio friends, that this energy is going to call you to have the highest of ethics. That's because Saturn is the Lord of Karma involved with this conjunction. And when we don't live by integrity and live by high moral principles in a sixth house realm, before this 36-year cycle is out, it'll come back to bite you on the butt if you're not acting from a moral high ground, or not a moral high ground, a morally balanced perspective. So I would just suggest, my beautiful Scorpio friends, that when you're helping somebody to fix a problem in life, do it with the highest good for both of you in mind. When you're sorting out a problem, maybe you're acting on behalf of somebody who's getting divorced, don't fleece them for all they're worth in the process of going through that divorce. Be fair, be equitable in the distribution of that divorce settlement, etc. Use your ethics, use your morals, because remember, this is also, you've got the Lord of Karma in the house of karmic debt. You don't adhere to high morals, high ethics in the way you fix problems, in how you help people resolve issues and resolve conflict and get out of imbalance. If you're not using high morals and ethics, I'm afraid you're going to create more karmic debt for yourself. You're going to become the instigator of imbalance rather than the wiping clean of the slate that we really want to see at this time. I'm not trying to preach at you, my Scorpio people. This is just the energy of the astrology in this chart. It's about learning to share with others. It's about service and helping, healing, fixing, to burn our karmic debts. It's about taking care of others with kindness and thoughtfulness at this time. It's humility. It's creating cleanliness, like in our soul, in our environment, in the lives of others, cleaning the clutter and toxicity away wherever we can in other people's lives and our own. Burn that karma. It's also about leaving behind a victim mentality. I spoke a moment ago about being a hero. Well, hello. Saturn Neptune are no longer in Pisces, which is the sign of the victim. But in this sixth house is the house of the victim. And of course, you want to move away from any sort of victim mentality now and embrace, like I said, that hero attitude. The house of the victim can see people, blaming others, and it's not fair, and poor me, and why does this always happen to me? This is a time for pulling up your big girl, big boy pants. You hear me say that a lot lately, and actually owning your own circumstances in life and being responsible for your own circumstances in life and taking them on like it's a battle. Those difficult circumstances in your life, I will fight to change the circumstances of my life. I will move forward with strength and power to change the circumstances of my life. And you know what? Saturn Neptune Conjunction has got your back with that. Saturn and Neptune Conjunction will see you turn your whole life around in terms of the everyday reality that you're living and any problems you're encountering over the next 36 years as this cycle unfolds. Now, I just want to point out, my Scorpio friends, that this is the end of an old cycle. The old is gone and the new is coming in. And the old cycle was actually in Capricorn back in the late 80s, which is your third house. And the third house, it speaks to having a 36-year cycle of focus on communication, learning new skills, developing talents. It's all about perhaps learning to run your own business and make money on your terms. That's a very third house thing. There is a focus here on keeping busy That may have been a big theme for you over the last 36 years. Busyness, restlessness. It can also be an issue with maybe mental activities. Mental running around in your head, may have been one of the issues that's been prevalent over the last 36 years. Even in the negative, it could have been maybe a 36-year period of ups and downs with anxiety or mental worries and so on. That's all coming to an end now. You're saying goodbye to all those third house paradigms that may have been at play throughout the last 36 years. And now, my beautiful Scorpio friends, you're moving into this empowered 6th house energy to turn your life around in that realm for the good. That's what I'm seeing manifest for our beautiful Scorpio friends. My lovely Sagittarius rising, sun and moon people, here we are with the Saturn Neptune Conjunction in the sign of Aries, your 5th house. And this begins on the 20th or the 21st of February, depending whereabouts you are in the world, what day that will actually be. What an exciting place to be having this conjunction occur. If you're a high vibe soul, and I did speak about this in the introduction to this video, if you're a high vibe soul, there is a chance that this conjunction could bring you the manifestation of long-held dreams. You might be seeing your long-held dreams reach fruition now, but it'll be in a 5th house manner because that's where the conjunction is occurring. So if you're a sports person, my Sagittarius friends, you might start to move into professional realms with your sports. Getting to an elite high level with the sports that you participate in might be part of the manifestation or of a dream here. If you are in an entertainment field, if you are an entertainer or a creative artist of some description, singer, actor, that kind of stuff, writer, then many of our Sagittarius friends can see success manifest for us. The long-held dream of being able to live off your creative endeavors may come to fruit right now. It's my prayer for my Sagittarian friends that that is exactly the case. The fruiting of our hopes and dreams in a creative realm. It could also indicate that you may have a desire just to be able to know more joy and happiness in life, contentment and satisfaction. Then in comes this fulfillment, this fruiting of this dream in the house of joy, knowing excitement, knowing happiness for living and not being stuck in a rut. That might be a simple dream manifestation that comes your way over the next 36 years. Let's hope so, Sagittarius. The 6th house, the 5th house is what we enjoy doing the most. And you may suddenly find that your life is just full to the brim with being able to spend your days doing what you love the most. Whatever that may happen to be, whether it's sewing beautiful dresses or writing amazing works of fiction. Sometimes with this conjunction for high vibe souls, you might find that you get the opportunity to live the life of your dreams in that way. This is also the house of good karma, and that's what we may be seeing fruiting right now, is the good karma from past lives blessing your life so that you do live with more joy, more abundance, more happiness, more of the fire of God alive in your life, Sagittarius. You can have more fun. This is the house of fun. That could be a fruiting for you. If you've wanted children, my beautiful Sagittarius friends, but there's been something blocking or holding that back from you, if you are a high vibe Sagittarius person, this could see that manifest for you. Now, ordinarily, a fire sign and a planet like Saturn together in the 5th house would be very restrictive of that manifestation. But hello, Neptune is the planet of miracles, visions, dreams, and it's a watery, therefore fertile energy here with Saturn that will crystallize reality in the house of children. So for that reason, we could see some Sagittarius people have pregnancy occur. If you want it, of course. And the 5th house is one of the houses that indicates a change in career, because it is 8 houses. 8 house always represents change. 8 houses from the 10th. And so this could be a reinvention of your career, a renovation of your reputation. It could indicate a sudden reversal in career, but one that is in alignment with your soul, in alignment with your dreams, in alignment with what you long to achieve. So for that reason, you might find, my beautiful Sagittarius people, that you are embarking on a career that fulfills you now more than anything ever before. And that might have been the dream of your heart, to have some meaning and purpose and dharma that was satisfying. So it's going to require some change, 8 houses from the 10th after all. But what it can do is absolutely manifest for you your dreams in terms of career. Now, I will just say, my beautiful Saggy friends, that this is happening in the sign of Aries, and therefore it's calling us to get out of our victim mentality where Neptune and Saturn have been for the last few years, in the case of Neptune 14 years. And now it's saying, let's manifest Aries reality. No more victimhood, no more poor me, it's not fair because I had this family upbringing and then, now I've got this going on in my life and boo-hoo for me. No, now it's about I own who I am. I own my journey. I own everything about my existence on this planet, and I will be the warrior for my own life. I will be the hero in my own life. I will take responsibility now. And this is, of course, happening. The heroic energy is happening in the 5th house. You might be called now over the next 36 years, Sagittarius, to be some sort of a warrior, a hero, an inspirational figure for children. Many of you Sagittarius people might be moving into facets of education for young adults. I'm not talking about little kids here, I'm talking about teenagers and so forth. You might be the warrior, the hero, uplifting young people in that way. You might be a warrior or a hero for your own creative output. Putting up the fight for the work that you've published or the song that you've written or whatever it happens to be. We are much more able to have a thicker skin now and endure the rejections of going to auditions and endure the challenges and the rigors of trying to get a book published by a reputable publisher. Now you have that fighting spirit to, not get down for long and to keep on trying, to keep on going and battling your way through till you reach a level of victory and a level of success with your creativity. You might also be more willing to fight for love now. This energy, being the hero, being the fighter, being the warrior in the 5th house of what we love and who we love, you might fight for your love right now. Fight for a loved one, fight for the right to have romance in your life and love in your life. And look, that can take many shapes and forms as our lives express in different ways, but the bottom line is being the hero and the warrior for love. Many of you might have romantic stories to tell at the end of this 36-year period about how you fought for love. Wow, it sounds quite exciting, doesn't it? My beautiful Sagittarius friends, we also need to keep in mind with this energy that Saturn, the Lord of Karma in the house of good karmic rewards, requires us to keep our ethics and morals high. Because if we don't, then we stand to lose the good karma that we have built over many lifetimes. Keep your ethics with children very high. Keep your ethics with the way you treat your lovers very, very high. Keep your integrity when it comes to your creativity. Don't compromise your creative works. I saw a documentary recently about the Black Eyed Peas, just a short documentary, and it was talking about the singer who initially started out with the Black Eyed Peas, who refused to wear skimpy clothing and gyrate all over her fellow band members because it was against her principles. And so she left the band, and in came Fergie, who was willing to do those sorts of things, and the Black Eyed Peas became a big sensation. But this is the kind of thing that we're saying, I'm not saying you're going to lose out, but I'm saying you need to maintain high ethics and high morals in your creative endeavors. Don't sell yourself out for what is not in alignment with your soul. And I'm not saying that Fergie's wrong. Don't get me, she's fantastic. The Black Eyed Peas are great. So please don't misunderstand what I'm saying here, but I'm using that as an illustration to say stick by your own personal principles and morals when it comes to your creativity, because this energy, this 36-year cycle, if you fail to stand by those principles and morals and ethics, then you may find that your creative opportunities come unraveled or undone, and you lose everything that you perhaps had aspired to have. Saturn, Lord of Karma, requires us to keep integrity, to keep high principles now in all 5th house areas. I will also say, my beautiful Sagittarius friends, that this is the end of an old 36-year cycle and the new is coming in. This cycle last began back in the late 80s in your 2nd house of Capricorn in whole sign astrology, Sagittarius. So you've been dealing with a 36-year cycle to do with resources, self-worth, self-valuing, learning to put yourself and your love for yourself first, and then see the manifestation in the material realm as a result of that. And these are hard lessons to learn, learning to love ourselves, learning to value our contribution and value who we are. This is what the second house is all about. This has been the lessons of the last 36 years. And I know a number of Sagittarius people, because I have a lot of Sagittarian friends, most blessedly. And I know a number of Sagittarian people who have been through exactly that, where they've given themselves away, where they've denied themselves for the sake of other people, and because they're good, lovely, kind-hearted people, and they've been walked all over and abused and treated dreadfully. And what this 36-year cycle has taught them is to, no, I'm going to stand for me. I'm going to value me and put my needs first for a change. Valuing of the self is a second house thing, and this has been a big part of the journey. Also, managing finances, managing resources, and attracting abundance has been a 36-year lesson of Saturn Neptune conjunction for many of our Sagittarius friends. And now the new is coming in. So that old cycle's finished. You've done the work. You've stepped up the ladder of enlightenment with regard to second house things, my dear Sagittarius friends. And now it's like the rewards come for that with this conjunction in the fifth house. You get the good karma for the work you've done over the last 36 years. The old has gone, the new has come. You're going to get the rewards, you're going to get the good karmic outcomes, you're going to get the dreams coming true in the fifth house as a result of the work that you've done. Well done, you, my Sagittarius friends. Enjoy the blessing of this most auspicious fifth house manifestation for a whole new 36-year cycle that's being born. Capricorn rising, sun and moon people. Well, my dear friends, we are having the conjunction of Neptune and Saturn in your fourth house. This is very, very special. And this is happening on the 20th or the 21st of February, depending where you are in the world, of course. But it's the beginning of a new 36-year cycle, so this is just the start. What does it mean? Well, for our Capricorn friends who are very high vibrational, and I spoke about what Shuri Yukteswar and Jeffrey Wolf Green considered to be high vibrational people in the beginning of this video. If that's you, then you will find that this is an opportunity for long-held dreams to crystallize into reality. Neptune is the dream and the vision, and Saturn is the crystallizing force. And so there could be great blessings coming for many of our Capricorn people in the field of family. Connections to family, connections to mother energy, somehow are fruiting in your life. If you've longed to have a family, to have a sense of belonging, to be able to put down your roots and feel like you're part of a community, part of a tribe, then this might be manifesting for you now. It could also be for many Capricorn people that your dream home is now manifesting for you, or will manifest over the next 36 years. Or maybe the chance to live in that part of town that you've always aspired to live in. Or maybe the chance to have that kind of property that you've always wanted to have. There is this fruiting that can occur now for many high vibe Capricorn souls regarding the household, the type of home that you want to live in, the area that you live in. This is also the house that has to do with emotions. And the conjunction here initially might give a bit of anxiety and depression, but just know that if you're a high vibe Capricorn person, this energy can actually manifest in uplifted emotions, especially as Saturn separates from Neptune. But the coming 36-year cycle is learning. Well, one of the manifestations can be that you learn how to be in the highest vibe of emotional happiness. This is a house of happiness. It's a house of our feelings. So really, this could be part of what fruits for you. A happy life, a happy attitude, no anxiety, letting go of all those emotions that drag you down, all those rabbit holes that you tend to go down that leave you debilitated. They may come to an end over the course of this 36-year cycle. You might find that there is something to do with your past, like the roots, the heritage, the lineage you come from, that is causing fruit in your life now. So it could be that, maybe some blessing from, maybe you inherit a business from the family farm or something like that, or the family greengrocer's store or something, and maybe it's been your dream to run the family farm, or your dream Capricorn, to have that greengrocer's store that Uncle Joe has in town, and you would like, oh man, if I had that, I'd turn it into a juice bar and I'd do this and I'd do that. Here comes that dream for you now. The inheriting of a family business or a family, something from your family lineage could be coming your way as part of the manifestation of this energy. My Capricorn friends, you know something? This conjunction is occurring in the sign of Aries, which is calling us out of victimhood and into hero-ness, warriorness, Wonder Woman energy. So what does that mean? It means you might be called to be the warrior and the hero for your family over the next 36 years. You might be called to fight for your family and fight for the greater influence of families in society. And certainly we've seen such an undermining by those absolute MFers in those documents that have recently been released, who have sought to undermine and destroy families through their woke culture and all that kind of stuff. Thank God that's been exposed for what it actually is, and hopefully humanity wakes up fully to realize how they've been tricked into undermining family because of all that crap. But you, my beautiful Capricorn friends, have the chance now to really step forward and fight for family, for tribal culture, if you like, or community culture, and stand up for those things. Look, I'm a community planner. That's what my master's degree was in, and it's a passion of mine to see communities come together to unite for the greater good, rather than letting outside influences like the WF and the WHO run us ragged, you know. And so this is an energy that Capricorn can absolutely get on board with for the next 36 years, for localized communities, fighting for localized communities, being a hero and a warrior for the people and what the people want in their community that they live in, that they reside in, and not being forced to do things by outside influences that have no concern for them or their community. You will be a hero regarding these things, I feel, many Capricornian people. Not only that, but you might be a warrior for your mother. Maybe mum's getting on now and you need to stand up and fight for good medical treatment for mum. Could look like that. You might need to fight for the way you parent your children and the right to parent your children in the manner that you see fit, whatever that might look like for you in a moral and ethical way. You might need to be the hero and the warrior for such things. You might also need to fight for some land, fight for some property, fight for your home, fight, like I said, for your community, but for the family farm. I think about, one of my favorite movies growing up was Gone with the Wind. And, I think about a lot actually about Scarlett's father, Gerald O'Hara, who ran Tara, okay, slave plantation, but let's call it a farm for the sake of the argument here. He said to Scarlett, land is the only thing worth fighting for, worth dying for, because it's the only thing that lasts. And this is what Capricorn people might be really compelled to fight for now. Their land, maybe a farm, maybe a country, maybe some sort of patriotic allegiance that they're fighting for. Capricorn people, this is what you might be called to do over the next 36 years in some way, shape or form. I would also suggest, my beautiful Capricorn friends, and you are very moral and ethical kinds of people, being Capricorn ruled by Saturn, but Saturn involved with this conjunction does tell us that we must maintain our integrity when it comes to fourth house matters. So this means being integrous about our emotions. No denying our emotions, no sweeping our emotions under the carpet. Let's be honest, let's be real, let's be true with how we're really feeling. And that's really something that Capricorn people might be called to over the next 36 years. But also you might be called to be very moral and ethical when it comes to the purchase and selling of land. Sometimes people do very underhanded things, sneaky. Don't tell you that there's white ants in the house when you go to purchase, and then you find out down the track, oh my God, this place is riddled with the little buggers. That kind of thing. That's not integrity. You are required to maintain high ethics when it comes to land, homes, farming, any kind of mining as well, which is seen from the fourth house. Any kind of foundation building, that means the foundation of a business, the foundation of a family, the foundation literally of a home. Integrity with that foundation is essential. You are required to maintain integrity with regard to your hidden motivations, because that's a fourth house thing too. You have to honor, okay, what's really motivating me here? Okay, if it's not something ethical and moral, if you're out for vengeance and you want to just bring that person right down, that's not exactly high integrity, is it? So look at your motivations. Are you jealous of somebody? Are you envious? Do you are you bitter towards somebody? Look at your motivations and do a bit of analysis there. Is it integrous? Is it moral? Is it highly ethical, the way what is motivating you to behave in a certain way? This does require a bit of self-introspection and analysis. This is also the house of safety, security, stability, and belonging. And whatever you need to do to create safety and security and stability and belonging in your life, make sure it's done with ethical principles. Or else, what does Saturn do? Lord of Karma. He, if we do things unethically, karma comes back to bite us. Manage your family ethically. Treat your mother ethically, etc., etc. Now I have to also mention, my beautiful Capricorn friends, that this is the end of an old cycle and the beginning of a new one. And this old cycle happened in the late 80s in the first house of you. You have spent, Capricorn people, the last 36 years refining yourself, purifying yourself, understanding yourself, getting to know yourself better. And that is exactly what the soul required of you for that 36-year period of life. You've probably learnt so much about yourself over the last 36 years. You have stretched and grown and matured in a massive way, my beautiful Capricorn friends. But that cycle of that inward focus on self is coming to a conclusion now. Now the focus moves to the fourth house. Your emotions, that's still part of who you are, so that's still a focus, but it's also about family, community, country. All these fourth house things are where the new energy is directed now. This is going to be the focus for the next 36 years. It won't be like an intense focus the whole damn time, but it will be a focus that rises up in peaks and probably plops down into troughs sometimes as well. It's like ebbs and flows with this over the next 36 years. By the time this 36-year cycle is finished, you are going to have stretched and grown and matured in these fourth house realms, with family, with your heritage, your roots, your lineage, with your home and your relation to property and land and development, and your emotional sense of stability as well. My beautiful Capricorn friends, I pray this next 36-year cycle is an absolute blessing to you. Aquarius rising, sun, moon, people, this is your moment, because you are having this Saturn Neptune conjunction in the third house of your chart. And this is happening on the 20th to the 21st of February, depending where you are in the world, of course. But you're going to feel it for the next 36 years. It's going to ebb and flow in your life for this whole next 36-year cycle. And if you're a high vibe Aquarius person, and I did speak to what Shura Yukteswar and Jeffrey Wolf Green considered to be high vibe people in the beginning of this video. If you're one of those people, a high vibe person, then you're going to be able to fruit some long-held dreams of a third house variety now. Now this could look like many different things. It could look like self-made wealth fruiting in your life from being able to run your own business or use your talents and skills to make money and succeed with those talents and skills or craftsmanship in some way. This could look like the fruiting of being able to sell something that you create. You know, this is buying and selling and trading, but often to do with our own creation and our own craftsmanship, as I've said. So if you are a skilled craftsperson, or you have some sort of perhaps knowledge that you want to share as well and teach others people with, then you might be able to fruit successful financial remuneration from those things as a result of this energy. If your long-held dream is to give a TED talk and be publicly recognized for your message, for the communication that you want to give, then this could manifest under this influence as well. This is very much the energy of our neighborhood too in the third house. What dreams do you have for your neighborhood? What dreams do you have for your localized area, my beautiful Aquarius friends? these things can manifest now. These things can fruit now. If you've always dreamed of living in a really friendly suburb where people help each other out, where you borrow a cup of sugar at will from any of your neighbors, where you meet for, street parties at Christmas and you all come together to celebrate Halloween, if your dream is to have that kind of community, and don't we all dream of that, then this could be a fruition that happens for you over the next 36 years. You may find your community and sense of belonging in a neighborhood. This is also the house of friendships that feel like siblings. And if you've always dreamed, I remember, when I was in primary school, I used to dream of having that really close friendship, a bit like, Anne Shirley had with Diana Barry, that deep friendship. Bosom buddies, I think she called it. This can manifest for you now, having a friend that feels closer than a sister, closer than a brother. Long-held dreams of friendship can fruit now as well. If you've desired to be able to play the piano like Professor Longhair, if you've desired to be able to, play saxophone like Louis Jordan, like these things can manifest for you now. Skills at a high level may have been a dream of yours that could fruit for you now over the next 36 years. Now, this is also happening in the sign of Aries, which is the energy of the hero and the warrior. This is moving out of the paradigm of Pisces, which is to be the victim. It's not fair, poor me, I can't handle this on my own, someone else did this to me. No more of that. Now it's about owning our lives. And in the house here of bravery, you may have the right mental narrative to have a brave warrior attitude to life. It's in your mind that you're going to have this warrior attitude. And this means at the times when you might do a bit of a dip into anxiety or, worry, you might have exactly what it takes because of this warrior energy to say, you know what, I'm not going to buy into this paradigm anymore. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I am the warrior of my own life in my mind, in my mental narrative, and I'm going to turn this situation around. It's through your own mental powers and prowess, my Aquarius friends, that you can absolutely change your mental attitude, your mental narrative. You can also be a bit of a warrior and a hero when it comes to learning new things. Sometimes, I'm not saying, I'm a Pisces person, and let me just tell you, I'm probably one of the least lazy people I've come across because I have a really strong work ethic. I'm not trying to toot my own trumpet here. I'm just trying to pacify any Pisces people who are listening to this as well. Just know when I say Pisces is or can be one of the lazier energies, I'm not meaning every Pisces is like this, okay? But when we've had Neptune moving through Pisces and Saturn there too, like laziness, or feeling like, I just can't be bothered to learn to play the clarinet like Benny Goodman. I don't need to do that. I'll just put a CD of Benny Goodman on. That's what I'm talking about here. Now that you have this warrior energy in your third house of talents and skills that we cultivate, you're going to have the mental drive to say, you know what, I can commit. Saturn is commitment. I can commit to learning to play the licorice stick like Benny Goodman, practicing an hour a day every day. You have the determination, you have that warrior heroic drive to develop the skills and talents now that you mightn't have had the motivation to do in previous cycles. So this is an exciting time. You're going to develop so many skills, so many talents over the next 36 years. I would also suggest that this warrior energy might see you fighting for friends, fighting on behalf of friends, not fighting with. That's a low vibe energy. We don't want that. This is fighting for your friends. Maybe they're going through a difficult time and you step in to be their backbone in a really difficult situation. You could also be fighting for your siblings. Maybe they need your support and help right now because they've been through hell. Well, you're the hero that can step in and help them in some way. Be that fighter, that warrior for them for some circumstance or another. My Aquarius friends, you may also find, there's a definite about this. Saturn is the Lord of karma. And here in the third house, this is where karma is going. But not just for this 2.5 year period of Saturn moving through this sign, it's actually for the next 36 years of this Saturn-Neptune cycle that you have to remember to keep your karma clean, to maintain high ethics, and morals and principles in a third house realm. The way you treat your friends, the way you treat your siblings requires high morals, high ethics. The way you treat your neighbors, the way, I'm thinking about it, if you are the kind of neighbor who, backs out of the driveway and bumps over your neighbor's rubbish bin and the rubbish spills all over the road and you quickly drive off hoping no one will see you, that's not ethical, that's not moral, and you are going to suffer the karmic consequences thanks to Saturn's energy here at some stage. If not straight away, then over the next 36 years there will be karmic consequences to be paid for treating your neighborhood and your neighbors and your friends and your siblings badly. So ethics, morals, principles are so required now. And that might mean, in a positive way, you're out there mowing your nature strip and it's looking all neat and tidy. Your next door neighbour is an elderly gent who can't really get out easily to mow his front nature strip or lawn. So you jump on the mower while you're out there doing yours and do his for him as well. That's high morals. That's high ethics. That's seeing how you can help heal and fix your community, your neighbourhood, or the lives of your friends and family where required. So that's what I'm seeing with regard to high ethics and morals. And if you run your own business, Aquarius, again, high ethics, high morals, high principles with the way you run your business as well, the way you do your craftsmanship, no cutting corners, not doing a dodgy and selling something for more than it's actually really worth in terms of the time and energy and quality of what you've produced. Keep that in mind. Ethics, morals, principles are so required in the third house realm now. If you're teaching a workshop, then you have to teach with integrity. You have to teach with honesty as well. Keep this in mind, or else karma comes back to bite us. My beautiful Aquarius friends, the other thing we need to remember with this energy is that it is the end of an old cycle and the beginning of a new one. The old cycle occurred in Capricorn back in the late 80s and it's been running ever since. And now we're moving into this third house paradigm for the next 36 years. But your Capricorn energy in whole sign astrology is the 12th house. So it was a very karmic time for our Aquarius friends. Many of you would have been tapping into past life energies and resolving and healing past life wounds, or may have been even drawing on past life skill sets that you had to utilize in this lifetime. This has been part of the journey of the last 36 years. You might have been healing your psychological paradigms and hang-ups from past lives too. Maybe you had addictions in past lives that were difficult and troublesome for you. And this last 36-year cycle has been a pattern of trying to release yourself, your soul, from those addictions, those paradigms, those self-sabotaging martyrdom kind of behaviors. All of these things have come to an end now. That old cycle of dealing with those issues has now concluded, is winding up, and I bet you're happy to see that go. All those karmic past life difficulties are concluding now. The good news is that's finished and you're out the other side of all that good work that you've been doing. Now the karma, the energy moves to the third house and deals with all those things that I was just describing for you, my beautiful Aquarius friends. These are the themes of the next 36 years. Our friends, our neighbors, our intimate communities, also our siblings and relatives as well, our talents, our skills and abilities, and the making of money from our own capacity. Welcome to the new paradigm, my Aquarius friends. You're absolutely going to love it. Well, Pisces, rising, sun and moon people, thank you for waiting till last, my lovely Pisces, and haven't we got a treat in store for you? You have this amazing conjunction of Saturn Neptune in your second house. And if you're I should just point out, this is happening on the 20th or the 21st of February, depending on where you are in the world, exactly what day that will happen. But it's going to be impacting you, get my words out, for the next 36 years. We are beginning a brand new cycle. So Pisces, if you're a high vibe Pisces soul, and I know you all are watching this video, high vibe Pisces souls, I described what that looks like in the intro to this video. If that's you, you have the capacity now to manifest and crystallize long-held dreams to do with second house things and second house realities. What is that? Many of you Pisces people will start to see manifestation of material goods in your life. Food, shelter, clothing. valuables. You're going to have a greater capacity, if you're a high vibe Pisces soul, to manifest the beautiful things we really want to own. Be that the car we've always hoped we might be able to have, or the property we always dreamed of having, or that beautiful necklace that we always thought would be just lovely to have. This is an energy for fruiting material things in the material reality. And very much so because the planet that rules you in modern astrology, Neptune, is conjunct now with the planet of earthly reality and crystallizing earthly reality. So very, very powerful for Pisces people because of that. You are going to be able to, I mean, some of your dreams, I could sit here all day listing many material dreams that people have that may fruit for you now. But it could be, I'll just give you a couple of examples. It could be that, I've said a car, I've said a house, I've said jewelry. It could be something that you're collecting as well. Maybe you love Barbie dolls, like that's what I love to collect. I haven't collected any in ages, but I've got this wonderful collection of pop culture Barbie dolls. Maybe you love to collect them, but you just need that last one to complete your collection. Well, hello, in comes the manifestation of something you love to collect, something you love to preserve, something you love to keep and store. It could be that you are manifesting a long-held dream to have a sizable bank account. Because maybe, you've always felt life is touch and go and ebb and flow, Pisces energy, and you really just want to feel stable and secure and safe in the world by having enough money in the bank to shore you up through the tough times. That might be a long-held dream that might fruit for you now. You might, it might be a fruiting dream that you are able to use your face, your hair, your teeth, your voice in some way in your life, because that is ruled by the second house as well. Let's say, I think Elvis had a very strong influence in his second house from the top of my head. And what was he using? His face and his voice made him the millionaire that he was, the very successful person that he was. You may have had a dream to be recognized for your voice, or recognized for your face, or your beautiful hair, or whatever second house body part that is represented here. You might find that that dream comes true for you now. You become a singer, or you become a model, or something like that, because of the energy of this second house fruiting and manifesting for you now. This is also the house that has to do with how we can succeed in making money. And so you might have had a dream of succeeding in making money a certain way. Maybe by being an astrologer, maybe by being a great artist, maybe by being a great filmmaker, maybe by, doing something spiritual in your life that allows you to rise into a position of success. And there might have been a long-held dream in that regard that allows you to succeed in making money in a way that is really true and real for a Pisces person. That's why I mentioned creative endeavors and I mentioned spirituality, because they are Pisces type things. So this could happen now. Long-held dreams in a material realm fruit for Pisces people. I will also say this is the house of our self-worth and our self-valuing. If the way you have valued yourself and seen yourself has been lowly, my Pisces friends, you may start to fruit and manifest greater self-worth, greater self-value that now allows you to manifest things in material reality. Because how we view ourselves, how we assert ourselves, it really determines how successful we are in the material realm. Pisces, you may be able to manifest that self-worth and self-love that is needed now to see you succeed in life in a big, big way, particularly materially. Pisces, this is also the energy of the warrior, of the fighter, of the hero. And it's occurring in your second house, Aries, the fighter, the warrior, the hero. This says that if you want to achieve financial and material success in life, you have to go about things with a bit of a warrior attitude. You have to be able to fight for making money. You have to be able to compete with others to make money. You have to be able to take on that warrior nature. So don't be afraid of a little competition. You know, it might pain you to be in a competitive environment. I know I find competition very, very painful because I have a Saturn Mars in the same sign. That often causes an inner painfulness when competition is concerned, but not everybody has that. But I just want to point out that you may need to take on this willingness to involve yourself in a competitive environment and be the warrior, be the fighter, be the hero to come out on top materially and financially. Don't be afraid to go there, my beautiful Pisces people, because that is how you're going to create greater resources for you. Food, shelter, clothing, and anything that you consider valuable and worth owning. You need to fight for it. You need to be a hero and compete for things. You will come out victorious. This is an energy of victory, really. So don't be afraid to stand up and fight for your stability and security in life. Don't be afraid to take a risk. Heroes and warriors, they're not sitting back waiting for the right time to manifest for them to go in and fight the battle. They just go for it. They take that risk. They jump in, boots and all. It's time. We're going. Oh, and it's happening. So don't be afraid to take a risk to make money and to create your material resources, my Pisces friends. That's the nature of the warrior and the hero in the second house. My beautiful Pisces friends, it is imperative as well, because Saturn is the Lord of Karma here in the second house as part of this establishment of this 36-year cycle energy, that you do things integrally when it comes to making money, when it comes to creating resources, when it comes to valuing yourself. It is not integrous of you to say, well, look, I put 5 hours work into this astrology reading, but hey, I'm only going to charge $20 for it. That's not high integrity. That's selling yourself short. That is doing the dirty by your soul and by your own, life journey, because you're worth more than that. High ethics regarding your value, high ethics regarding your worthiness. And also, as you buy and sell and create money for yourself, as you, perhaps go to auctions and compete for various items and things like that in your life, keep high ethics, keep high principles and morals. No, none of this underhand shady dealing that we see politicians doing when they're manipulating policies so that they can make more money and things like that. None of that. You do that, Pisces, you're going to get the karmic kick up the butt that you deserve if that's what you get involved in. Ethics and moral principles regarding making money and acquiring resources now. Keep that in mind. Keep your karma clean. I mean, what are we seeing in the world right now? Many people deservedly losing their platform, losing their public respect because of the dickhead things that they have been doing. We don't want karma to come back and bite us in any way, shape or form, my beautiful followers. And so let me just encourage you to keep your karma clean in the material realm for the next 36 years, because it's the right thing to do, and not just because karma might come back to bite us. Okay, Pisces, I want to point out that this is the end of an old cycle. The old is gone, the new has come. What is ending now is a cycle that began in the late 80s in Capricorn with this conjunction. And Capricorn is your 11th house. So what we're seeing for Pisces people is a wrapping up of old karma, or perhaps a 36-year cycle of learning and growth and maturity regarding what you can earn in the world. Your winnings, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. I think many of you Pisces people have been looking to fulfill your goals and dreams and aspirations over the last 36 years. I'll give you an example from my life. Ever since that conjunction in the late 80s, I've always dreamed of doing some sort of career for myself, very independent. I have it in my chart, very independent type of career. So I tried to start a garden design business, or actually I did run one for quite some time that was successful, but it didn't last. I tried to start a fashion design brand. I tried to become a singer in a certain music scene. I tried so many things to establish goals and dreams that were very independent, because that's what I'm drawn to over the last 36 years of this cycle. You know what? Now as this cycle closes out, What am I doing with my life? I am an astrologer, helping people to understand the astral energies as they impact their lives. This is my business that I've created to stand on my own 2 feet using skills and capabilities that I have to offer the world. That has been the journey. My goals, my ambitions, my dreams, 11th house energies have been to have that independent career. And it's manifested for me over this last 36-year cycle. I say thank you to the universe for that cycle that's brought me to this point in life. So much to be grateful for with the manifestation of my deep down goal and dream to have my own business in this manner. Such a gift, such a blessing. What about you? What old cycle of goals and dreams and aspirations and wishes have you seen manifest in your life, my beautiful Pisces friends? That cycle has matured now. It's come full circle, and you're about to start a whole new cycle in second house realms, Pisces. What does this mean? Creating income for yourself is the cycle of the next 36 years. Creating wealth for yourself is the cycle of the next 36 years. Developing your finances, developing your self-worth, self-valuing, developing a good material base of stability and security for your life is the cycle. What a gift, what a blessing, my beautiful Pisces friends, to now be able to have moved into this realm of creating a source of material stability for ourselves going forward as many of us move into latter stages of life or move into midlife and what have you. We are now in the process of creating stability materially for ourselves. Such a gift, such a blessing. The old is gone, the new has come. Enjoy. Well, my lovely friends, thank you for joining me for the Astro Weather Report. I'll be back next week with much more fabulous information on what the astral skies are doing. But until then, be blessed.